Okay, Shalom Israel. Hope everybody's doing well. We're back at it again. This is Bot. Once again, shout out Swore the Truth family, Kawakav in Guatemala. I'm a Yataza in England, London. The brothers and sisters that are part of Kawakav School Camp from California to Georgia. Hope everybody's doing well today.
Okay.
Also, Stream of Wisdom family, Kazaki in Virginia, Shalom. Quantazop in Houston, and Zion in Rochester, New York. Hope everybody's doing well. We're about to get started into our Shabbat again. We missed last week because we were dealing with the brothers and the sisters from the different camps, but we're back on schedule now. It's in our present. Barakatah Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai.
Barakatah Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai.
Ha-ha-wa. Nothing Lanawa. A war. Zayawam.
The water. Aman. Bless you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, that gives to us light this day. Thank you, so be it.
Can I get this? Barakatah Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai.
Barakatah Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai.
Ha-ha-wa. Nothing Lanawa. Rayach. Nayachacha. The water.
Aman. Bless you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, that gives to us sweet savor. Thank you, so be it.
Amaju, Wapanya, Yerat Shalom.
Stand and face Jerusalem.
Barakatah Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai.
Barakatah Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai.
Ha-ha-wa. Nothing Lanawa. Ha-Shabbat. B'Shalom. The water. Aman.
Bless you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, that gives to us the Sabbath in peace. Thank you, so be it.
Psalms 121. Anasha.
Ayanyamya.
Hahaya. Ma'aya. Yabu'a. Isaiah. Yabu'a. Yahweh. Sha'aisha. Shemayim. Wa'aratiza. La'a. Yonathan. Lamawat. Regalia. Yala'a. Nawam. Shashamaya. Hana. Yala'a. Nawam. Wala'a. Yashan. Shashawamah. Yashua. Yahweh. Shemaya. Yahweh. Tazalia. Ayo. Yanyamya. Yad. Hashemash. Yala'a. Hakaya. Bayawam. Wala'a. Halabana. Balayala. Yahweh. Yashemaya. Makol. Right. Yashemah. Napasha. Yahweh. Yashemah. Hawalakia. Wabu'aya. Ma'itha. I will love.
Psalms 121 in English. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from Yahweh, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Yashala shall neither slumber nor sleep. Yahweh is thy keeper. Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. Yahweh shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. Amen.
Israelite Credo. Shema Yashalom. Yahweh. Eloheinu. Yahweh. Echad. Shema Yashalom. Yahweh. Eloheinu. Yahweh. Echad. Shema Yashalom. Yahweh. Eloheinu. Yahweh. Echad.
Israelite Credo in English. Deuteronomy chapter 6 verse 4. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our power is one Lord.
The Lord's Prayer. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malakutka, Taba'ah, Ratazaka, Hayah, Aisha, Barataza, Kawa, Hayah, Bashemayim, Nathananawa, Lacham, Ko, Yawam, Wasalachna, Chawathina, Kasalachna, Chawathina, Wala'a, Tabianawa, Banasawan, Abo, Hawashana, Mayan, Kaya, Laka, Amalakwa, Waha'ala, Wahathaparat, La'ayam.
Amen. Lord's Prayer in English. Matthew chapter 6, verse 9. After this matter, therefore, pray ye, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Amen. Okay. 10 Commandments. La'ayahayah. Laka. Alahayah. Achayah. Ayo. Panya.
Thou shalt have no other powers before me.
Number 2. La'a. Ta'ina. Laka. Pasal. Wala'a. Ta'ibadam.
Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, nor serve them.
Number 3. La'a. Thala Khwacha. Sham. Yahweh. Bashawa.
Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy power in vain.
Number 4. Zakar. Hayawam. Hashabat. La Kodashwa.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
Number 5. Kabad. Habaka. Ya'amaka.
Honor thy father and thy mother.
Number 6. La'a. Tharatazak.
Thou shalt not kill, murder.
Number 7. La'a. Thana'ab.
Thou shalt not commit adultery.
Number 8. La'a. Thana'ab.
Thou shalt not steal.
Number 9. La'a. Tha'ina. Shakwar.
Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor.
Number 10. La'a. Thachamad. Ko. Ashara. La'raika.
Thou shalt not covet anything which is thy neighbor's.
Barakatay Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Ahawah. Nathananawa.
Bless you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai that gives to us the law.
Israel Yeshavim.
Everybody seated?
Okay. Last week's class, or 2 weeks ago's class, dealt with Ezra and just the process of the Most High calling him, and the process of him working his relationship with the king, which was Artaxerxes Artaxerxes. It was Artaxerxes, yeah. It was Artaxerxes at the time, and getting Artaxerxes to fund the expedition to get priests and other people from all the provinces to make the trip. Cut that off. To get to Jerusalem for the purpose of reteaching the Israelites, the Benjamites and the Judites in particular, that had migrated there in 615 BC. The purpose was for Ezra to come back and start to reteach the people and start to give them the laws, statutes, and commandments again, and to kind of order things right, because there are obviously issues amongst the hierarchy of leadership and the people, and we had diminished in our caliber and diminished in our standard that we had once had before. And that's what the topic of the class is today. Or this is where the class is going to be going today. So 2 weeks ago was just about the journey, the process, and the challenges that Ezra and the people that went with him endured to help get all the gold and the supplies and the religious items to Jerusalem so they can start augmenting the temple and preparing to teach the people. This is why Ezra needed a lot of Levites to participate in the trip. so they can do more teaching and edifying. You know, the first phase of reconstruction was just getting the temple erected. That was the first phase. The second phase that we're in the topic is with Ezra reforming their spirit. The last phase of reconstruction will be dealing with Nehemiah and dealing with the actual physical building of the walls and the protection of the people inside the city of Jerusalem. But we're going to go into today, the title is Ezra's Chastisement of Israel's Marital Decisions. So over this period of time, I think it was 57 years had passed since we had gotten the temple erected. And now we're sitting back here, and there was deterioration pretty quick from the time the temple was erected and rebuilt and financed to the present day. So, let me do this. Let's go to Ezra chapter 9. And, can you give me the BKC?
Yeah.
It's on my side bottom.
All right.
I might need it. Just for times and years' sake. Cry, let's get you started with the reading. Takes out of me.
Kuriah, Shah Shabbatah, Bana Shah, Banya Shala.
Kuriah, Shah Shabbatah, Bana Shah, Banya Shah, Imagine. Right? Yahweh Hashem Yahshua
Yahweh Hashem Yahshua.
Right. Okay. So let's get this Ezra chapter 9, verse 1 and 2. We're going to eventually get through the whole chapter as well as chapter 10 also. But okay. So let's do this.
Ezra chapter 9, verse 1.
Matter of fact, let me try to find this real quick. It was here. Nah, we're not gonna do that. We went over the years and dates last class. We're gonna go into the meat of the topic and then go from there. So let's read this.
Ezra chapter 9 and verse 1. Now when these things were done, the princes came to me saying, the people of Israel and the priests and the Levites have not separated themselves from the people of the lands, doing according to their abominations, even of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Jebusites, the Ammonites, the Moabites, the Egyptians, and the Amorites.
Bro, we're back at it again, bro. We just got out of 586 BC with the priests and the Jews breaking laws, following idols. Remember in Ezekiel, there was a prophecy about how the Most High took Ezekiel from the land of Babylon, and he took him to the temple in Jerusalem, and it showed the different courts and levels of the temple, and how the people, the priests, and the people were defiling themselves with the idolatry at the temple. We read that in Ezekiel. We read how we were defiling ourselves in Jeremiah. We read about how we defiled ourselves time and time again in 2 Kings, with all the reigns of the kings of the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. And now we're back at it again. We've sat back here, and we haven't separated our people, or separated ourselves from the cultures, the religions, and the beliefs of the nations once again. And what's happening is, how are we getting linked back into idolatry for the umpteenth time? Read verse 2.
Verse 2. For they have taken of their daughters for themselves and for their sons, so that the holy seed have mingled themselves with the people of those lands. Yea, the hand of the princes and rulers have been chief in this trespass.
So listen, as the head is, so are the what? As the officers. So it says the priest and the Levites, the rulers and the princes, were chief in these trespasses. Were chief in sitting back here and fueling the rest of the nation with their desire to intermingle with these nations. and to marry off their sons with our sons with their daughters and their daughters with our sons, so forth and so on. And this process is happening again and again and again and again. Now let's read verse 3 real quick.
Come. Ezra chapter 9 and verse 3. And when I heard this thing, I rent my garment and my mantle, and plucked off the hair of my head and off my beard, and sat down astonished.
He's like, man, I'm astonished.
Can't
We
believe
sat back here and had to get destroyed and broken down completely just off of this.
And we come off of Jeremiah's battle.
Yes.
The war of Jeremiah, bro. This guy fought for a long time, bro.
Well, it was Jeremiah's battle, and it was also the 70 years of being broken down and punished.
Yep.
And we're fighting.
And plus the 452 years of the line of kings that all made mistakes, that all failed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And now it's like the scary thing is Zerubbabel and Joshua. They fought their tails off to help reestablish Israel back into the temple. And it took one generation of kids to screw it up.
Wow.
This is why it's so important that you teach your kids and you give them the best opportunity they can to choose the Most High. They still have to choose the Most High. You can sit back and lead a horse to water, but they what?
Can't make them drink.
You can't make them drink. But you can sit back and have water all around them. But the truth is, you don't think Joshua and Zerubbabel and all those princes were pushing their kids to live right, do the right thing?
Yeah.
Of course they did. But like reading the story about Samuel, just because Samuel was an honorable man didn't mean his sons are going to be honorable. The next generation after Samuel, the sons were taking bribes, doing side deals, winking at negative for personal gain. So what's happening is Ezra is like, man, what the hell is happening? We're about to lose what we just built overnight. Because the next generation wants to sit back here and deal with these women. But we're going to sit back here and kind of take a little time to investigate these marriages and these connections with these nations. To kind of, in detail, to figure out where the fault was and how the fault was. Because it's a little more to it than the fact that they just had some nations and we're about to fall because they picked some other nations that follow God's. Okay, we got to kind of go into some explanations to explain things. So we're going to hold Ezra chapter 9, and we're going to go to Exodus chapter 34, verse 11 through 16.
Exodus chapter 34, verse 11.
Let me make sure I get it too, sir. Let's read that, sir.
Exodus chapter 34 and verse 11. Observe, thou that which I command thee this day. Behold, I drive out before thee the Amorite, and the Canaanite, and the Hittite, and the Perizzite, and the Hivite, and the Jebusite.
They were the people that were native to the land of Canaan. All these different people were native to the land of Canaan. And through history, you read, I think it was Wisdom of Solomon 12, it explained how wicked they were and how they were into the murdering of their children, children sacrifice. They were very bloody people. The Most High had a problem with how they did things. And once again, what are we doing now in Ezra's time? Messing with these same people that were still into killing of children, child sacrifice, the whole nine. Okay? Yes, sir?
I got a question. Like, all these ites, they come from the nation of Ham, right? The lineage of Ham?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I want to make sure.
Okay. Let's continue.
Verse 12. Take heed to thyself, lest thou make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land whither thou goest, lest it be for a snare in the midst of thee.
So what is the worst thing about the connection between the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites. What is the Most High having the issue with?
It's some kind of snare.
It's the covenant. It's the covenant that they're making with these nations and his people. It is a promise. It is a connection beyond just the physical interaction between man and woman that the Most High is having the issue with. Because what we're going to try to balance out and give understanding today is, what's the difference between what Ezra is attacking in the Jews in Ezra 9 versus a man having a concubine in the scriptures? What's the difference? Because the scripture, there is a difference between scripturally, biblically, a man can have a concubine versus what we were doing in Ezra chapter 9. We're going to go into it. Read verse 12 again.
Exodus chapter 34 and verse 12.
No.
Take heed to thyself, lest thou make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land, whither thou goest.
Well, I was taught, I just read it. I'm like, man, this is something bad's going on between these. This mix isn't working.
The mix isn't working, and we kept sitting back here and following their idols. Mm-hmm. Because we're going to explain it in detail in a bit, but the Most High had the problem with the covenant, the contract, how official these relationships were made. This is because when you start sitting back here and dealing with obligations and responsibilities, now you're sharing responsibility in how the house is run. Now you're sharing responsibility with the direction of the family and how the family gets reared and established. And this is what the Most High has the greatest issue with in this entire interaction. Read on.
Verse 13. But ye shall destroy their altars, break their images, and cut down their groves. For thou shalt worship no other God. For the Most High, whose name is jealous, is a jealous power.
Read on.
Lest thou make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land, and they go a-whoring after their gods, and do sacrifice unto their gods. And one called thee, and thou ate of his sacrifice.
Exactly. So he's like, the Most High is trying to make sure that the influence of the nations gets forever squashed out amongst the people. And what we're going to sit back and read is a pattern of us trying to intermarry, interconnect families. Yeah. Because when you sit back and look at the idea of marriage, you're sitting back here and marrying families. You're marrying into the family. You're marrying into the mother-in-law, the father-in-law. You start sitting back here and merging belief systems. Because when the kids are over the mother-in-law's house or grandma's house, what's the grandma going to cook?
Good question.
Well, that's the question. That's the thing. Whatever. Listen, they can. I don't know if you've been experienced this. You can sit back here and express whatever the hell you prefer or not. Yeah. Grandma gonna cook whatever the hell is in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And she's gonna do what the hell she want to do.
And she's stuck in her ways.
And that's the thing. So when you're marrying a wife, you're also marrying into the family. And this is what the Most High keeps saying, and why the Most High wanted us to abstain from the process of marrying these other nations. Okay? Now read verse 16.
Verse 16. And thou, it says, and thou take of their daughters unto thy sons, and their daughters go a-whoring after their gods, and make thy sons go a-whoring after their gods.
And that's the point. He's like, you having their daughters, your daughters chase their sons, and your sons chase their daughters, and if they're going to chase and pursue their daughters, they're also chasing and pursuing their idols.
Yep.
Because now you're courting. That man is courting the woman, and now the man is putting himself in a position of compromise and consideration. And,
yeah.
and if I'm gonna take this wife on, I got to talk to these parents. I had to sit back here and figure out what is it that I have to present to these parents to win the family over. That's what marriage is about. If you're going to be official and do things the right way. So most times, like in the process of us being honorable in pursuing these nations, you're throwing away and you're spitting on your relationship with the Heavenly Father. And that was what was pissing the Most High off the most. This courtship, this pursuit, this energy you're putting into these women that don't believe in the Heavenly Father like you believe in the Heavenly Father is going to end up corrupting you and your children. Okay? Now, you take it in a present day situation. That's like chasing some broad in the world. And you choose her because the conversation's live. She's fine. She's fine. She's sexy.
Met a dragon, had a fire conversation.
Yeah, here you go. Some Lil Wayne lyrics out here. And that's the truth. Then you sit back here, you totally don't give a crap about what this woman's really about.
Yeah.
Listen, of how her family operates. What are they really into? Santeria is something.
It's like Catholic or something.
It's like Catholic. It's like Catholic or something.
Yeah,
Santeria is no big thing. Yeah, Santeria is no big thing. They're religious. Like what? That's black magic, my guy. Yeah. But that's not really her spirit.
She's Dominican though. That's just their culture.
So it's
just their culture.
Let me stop. Con.
It's not just their culture.
It's a bad thing because when you're sitting back here and your little babies in white and they're playing bongo drums and shit out, and they're doing and they got fruit outside of the house, huh? For God to eat out. There's a problem at that point.
What about your sins?
Yeah.
Well, I come from a bad neighborhood too. It wasn't all good where I came from. Where she came from.
What does that got to do with you serving idols? But this is a situation that we're tapping into. Yep. Well, I'm just looking at looks and how fine she is.
She's an accent.
And she calls me Poppy. Because she calls me Poppy.
She talked to me nice.
So because she calls you Poppy, all of a sudden all ethics and all belief gets thrown out the door.
That statue is just something her grandfather gave her. It's just.
Oh my God!
The statues her grandfather gave it to her.
So when you went to the house and she got fruits and all kind of shit and incense burning in the front eye, you didn't think that was a red flag act?
It's just a different.
But she said she called me Poppy. She called me Poppy. That matters. Nobody else has done that. I'm not letting this go.
Yeah.
You don't understand. Poppy.
She's special.
I can let it go.
Listen, this is the dilemma that the Jews faced. They face now.
Yeah.
We face it in the time of Ezra. We face it in the time of Numbers. Everybody's giggling like little schoolgirls.
They know that.
Poppy, I know, Poppy. Everybody's giving a little the hee laugh right now. But it's the reality. Listen, brothers will sit back and melt off of some compliments. All somebody got to do is say, you're handsome. Most High sent it to me. The Most High sent her to me.
She's a blessing.
It was ordained. God did this. God did I.
God did.
Listen, this ain't just some teenage stuff. You get a brother in his 30s and 40s, a woman do that shit out. This is the Most High sent this. I just want to know. I'm thinking the Spirit sent this to me.
Why?
Tell you, I don't understand. Anyway, I'm kind of adding on to it, but this is the truth about how our people operate. You want to pull the scripture yourself, John?
No, it's just a definition, actually. The definition of compromise, it says an amicable agreement between parties in controversy to settle their differences by mutual concessions. So it says to adjust and to settle a difference by mutual agreement with concessions of claims by parties or to compound. So what he's saying is that you will start to water down your belief when you compromise your allegiance to the Most High and you tie yourself in with these other individuals, these outsiders. You'll water down your belief for the sake of keeping it together. For the sake of the union, you'll start watering down and giving up some of your tenets, some of your disciplines for the purpose of making sure that we stick together. Yeah. So whatever we got to do to stick together, if that means I got to lose some of my disciplines That means if I got to throw away a couple commandments.
Oh man!
But listen, that's the thing. Listen, the nations don't mind adding on more guys on top of the game, man.
No,
they'll add more.
They already got more.
So they'll say, "We'll do your Jew thing," but you know what? You got to do our stuff too.
Yep.
You got to come to these entheogen parties where everybody's getting hot box in this building, and you got to see what's going down. You're gonna see our God. And what you gonna do? Mm-hmm. This is what making oaths is all about. So this is what we get caught up in, trying to make oaths, trying to make allegiances with people who don't think and operate like we think and operate.
So for example, what happens when you let your daughter marry a man from India and he so happens to be from he's a Hindu, and
can't eat beef then.
No, in the Hindu religion, when the husband died, the wife got to die too.
Die how though?
Yeah. So she get burned alive.
Yeah.
She gets burned alive. She gets cremated with him while she's alive because he's dead. So she got to die. So your daughter
with him in afterlife.
Your daughter got to die with him because that's their belief. Because she married into that household and that belief system.
That's a bad decision, man.
Yeah, you ain't going. That's why the Most High got to separate it.
Con. So let's keep going on this vein. We're leading to a point. Let's go to Leviticus real quick, 21:7.
It's a hell of a day right there, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Was the dowry worth it? Was the money you was going to get out of it, was it really worth it?
What's so crazy is that really happened.
Yeah.
Really blended in with those cultures.
Oh, yeah, of
that
course.
Really happened. That was going on. That was an ancient practice. I like to bring it up because it's true.
Bro, so let's get Leviticus 21:7.
Leviticus chapter 21 and verse 7. They shall not take a wife that is a whore or profane.
Listen, what does profane mean? Let's get a definition of profane.
Profane, 1828, Webster's Dictionary.
Number one,
irreverent to anything sacred.
So he says, don't choose a whore or a woman that doesn't respect sacred things. The Bible is sacred.
Wow.
So why do we choose women that don't respect the Bible?
That's stupid.
That don't respect the law. But they called you Poppy.
That doesn't matter.
So now I have to really think about this.
Poppy, calling Poppy matters.
Listen, bro.
That's true.
So the thing is this. So once again, if you got a woman that's into you, if she is irreverent to anything sacred, then it's not the spirit that's
give her time. I'll give her
that
time.
was Diablo brought it to you. The devil brought it to you.
Give me 6 more months. I'm trying
you
to
know
dunk
damn
the spirit.
well.
I'm dunking the spirit.
You wasn't
But I'm
dunking the
using
spirit.
catchphrases, Bible catchphrases. I'm just dunking the spirit.
You're teaching her. You're redeveloping her. She's getting retaught. Listen, if she doesn't have a respect for what's sacred in the scriptures, then she's not worth choosing. And this is why the Most High said, don't choose these women. Don't marry, whether it's Israel or the nations. He's like, don't choose these nations because by nature they were irreverent to the scriptures. They were irreverent, or they didn't care, or the Bible didn't matter to them. And if the Bible doesn't matter to them, and I am getting into the position of marriage with this person, now I've stuck my neck out there, and I've made arrangements. There's been compromises. Because listen, you can't get around compromise in marriage. Once you sit back here and marry somebody, you're there. You guys are one as a body, and you operate one as a body.
You know what's so stupid?
And you can't get around the things that the partner brings to the table.
No,
Your children are going to be affected by it. You're going to be affected by it. And this is why the Most said this entire union should be squashed from the jump.
Yeah, wow.
Because trying to sit back and get people that don't believe, that don't respect this word, to respect the word is a waste of time.
Yeah.
All those feelings and emotions, and we dated in high school, none of that shit matters, bro. What matters is, does this person respect the Father,
or not?
Or is she willing to respect the Father? If she's not, you're wasting your time, you're wasting your energy. You're exhausting yourself for no reason. What you gonna say?
No, just thinking about what you're saying it's a lot to say.
Because there's more to this, but just in the beginning, the Most High, this is why Ezra was crying and breaking out. Listen, because now you got entire families that are intertwined now.
They're solidified.
Listen, the mother, the husband, all both. You married the mother-in-law and the father-in-law. You married the grandpa. You're married into the entire family, right or wrong. You married to Ned the Wino, who's the brother of your wife. How about that too? You get them crazy reports about brother-in-laws doing crazy shit out, and you got to help them out, bail them out of jail. Hey, can I crash at your house, bro?
You got 500?
No, we don't got that. That ain't happening.
Listen, I'm going back if I don't pay this 500.
Hey,
that's my brother.
There you go. These are real things, but you're being tied and pulled into the entire family drama. But this is what the Most High is telling us about why it's so important not to connect with these women that don't respect what you respect.
Profane.
They don't respect and value the Bible, the things that you hold sacred. What's that?
And that's not just a nation thing. Because I've done that before. A lot of people have done that. I've done the whole, well, she's a Jew. She's Israelite. She don't believe none of this. We're
going to force this connection.
Listen, I want to prove to her beyond a shadow of a doubt that the Hebrew Israelites, according to the Bible, are the actual anthropological Jews that the scriptures show. I want to go into education and history right here.
Anthropology.
Yeah, I want the anthropology. This is you. In anthropology studies, this is you. Look at this book. It doesn't matter, bro.
If she doesn't have a natural inclination to respect the book, then you're wasting your time. So, but this was happening amongst our people, and it was even more prevalent when you try to sit back here and do this with who? Non-Israelite women. It was even a greater problem because they had no connection to the Bible.
And the prettier they are, the worse it gets.
And I'm going to say this, the prettier they are, the more demands they had.
Yeah.
They were demanding to sit back and solidify the union. You think the pretty ones didn't have more expectations?
1.5, Eddie.
More demands?
You know why they got more demands? Because they got more people willing to do what you don't want to do.
Like Joe, you got a Joe problem out?
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys willing to do what you don't want to do.
Right, persuasive powers, right?
Yeah.
Listen, they probably put money on it, time, whatever. But just back in those days, so you don't think they had multiple quarters?
That's true.
Men that was going to put more money down, more help down the family?
Well,
so these things were happening too back then. So men were sitting back here, going out of their wits for women, when to give up everything they had for looks and for status, and it looked like they'd have done.
And that's the beauty of an arranged marriage, is to let the parents get a perspective of that person that you're marrying into, because they know those families are about to be connected. So you're about to adopt that family's problems, that family's issues, that family's lack of fear of the Lord. High holy days included. So this is why the arranged marriages were so necessary, because when you're young, you just see a person, you can't see the intentions behind the person. You can't see the heart of a person. But the parents, they're there to oversee, hey, this is not a good mix. This is not a good match. Yeah. A lot of times we went against our parents. A lot of times we didn't bring our mates home.
We kept it hidden.
Because we knew what our parents were going to say.
Like, surprise, you're stuck with us now.
You're a grandma now. That's what I did. That's what I did. Guess what? You're a grandma now.
That was it. Those are the words.
That's what I said. You're a grandma now. Guess what? You're a grandma now. She ain't even know the woman yet. It's real stuff. She ain't ever met her.
Get the cookies ready.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? She didn't even get a chance to meet her. Yeah. Go ahead and knit some scarves.
Some scarves.
Some booties.
Get some blue. Get some blue outfits.
Get some booties and some onesies.
Kind of. So we're trying to sit back and explain why the Most High was so mad at these intermarriages.
Yep.
Okay. Now let's go real quick to Deuteronomy 7. Verse 1 through 5.
Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 1. When the Most High thy power shall bring thee into the land, whither thou goest to possess it, and have cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites, and the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou.
And all those people were native to the land of Canaan. Okay, read on.
Verse 2. And when the Most High thy power shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy.
It goes back to that covenant, that confederacy. No merging of ways, no compromising of ways. Most High is like, you cannot operate with your belief system and merge it with their belief system. It doesn't work. No. It can't happen.
Give a little, take a little, right?
That can't work. He's like, that can't work with these people. Read on.
It says, neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter shalt not give unto his son.
Now listen, when it says, neither shalt thou make marriages with them, you get the word marriage, obviously. Marriages is to contract affinity. It is a literal contract. He's like, I don't want you getting into contracts with these women.
Now, what does that really mean? Because
the contract is the obligation. We're going to go into different aspects of the contract. I don't want to spill it too early. But the contract, he says, I don't want you having that level of commitment and responsibility with these women and their belief systems.
Because you're bound to that person.
You're bound to that person, and you're bound to compromising with their ways.
You don't want no Kardashians.
Brother, your kid might wear a dress. Your boy might wear a dress in a couple of years, man. Dealing with them.
Yeah.
You ever sat back and dealt with that woman? Man, what's that woman? She walks around with her Ethiopian son in a straight dress out. I don't know if you saw. She's a Hollywood star, whatever. No, well, that one too, but it's another one.
Yeah.
But she walks around. They sit back and get these sons from other countries, make them rich, whatever, and dress them like girls.
What's this about?
I think Madonna too, but that's not the one. Charisse Theron.
I know.
I saw her at the store, bro, on a little, TMZ, whatever, and her son is in a damn dress and little thin braids out and looks like a little girl because she's making him be that at an early age.
Contaminating them.
Yeah.
Sad.
But that's her obviously sacrificing her level. But imagine dealing with a woman like that and her constantly pushing that when you're not around. And you're arguing with this person every day. You come home from work and she's putting lipstick on a little boy. You ever see little kids that don't know better? They'll sit back and try to put mommy shoes on because they're kids. Well, what if the mom lets them put the shoes on and strut around?
And encourages them.
And encourages
That
them.
happens in the hood all the time. Back in the day, it used to happen in the hood all the time. Like the moms would laugh. It was funny. You had the babies dancing. The babies were doing the
twerking.
Butterfly. Back then it was butterfly. Twerk now.
The
Back
butterfly.
Yeah, bro. Remember?
Scrub the ground.
Yeah, that was going on, bro. That Miami bass.
Pamper popping.
Yeah, it was babies dancing in a circle out. And you had the MD 2020. You had the MD 2020. You had the.
You going fast. You said the MD 2020.
MD 2020.
What flavor?
Grape.
Orange.
Gotta be grape.
It's grape. Grape.
Orange and red. Oh man.
I remember it was red.
That's headache red.
Red and grape.
That's vomit red.
Red.
Yeah. It was like a pink kind of color, right? It was gross.
Bro, and playing Dog Pound in the background, and playing E40 Hurricane, and you can call it slur, and the babies are sitting here doing the in and out and dancing, getting Tay to go over there and dance all provocative like they're babies. And I'm like, it's the hood, and I'm looking at everybody. I'm like, everybody's cool with this. Yeah. You can't say nothing because you're like young too, but it's normalized. And it's fun.
But that's based off the woman you choose.
And there's weed in the back. You can smell weed in the air. There's weed alcohol's getting dark. Put the babies to bed, and the parents gonna start partying too, the same way.
So when them kids get out of bed, because the noise is loud, and start seeing what's going on,
Oh yeah,
you think they're gonna learn that behavior too?
that's how it gets passed down.
But the point is this: this is why, whether it's we're talking about the nations or we're talking about women in general, if you don't find a woman who has a respect for the scriptures and a respect for the Bible, and a respect not just for the Bible, because a lot of people that sit back and put their hand on the Bible and say, I swear to God, but don't live it at all. You got to find somebody that has a respect and reverence for what we believe in. If not, he says, don't have an allegiance with them. We're sitting back and looking at, oh yeah, these wicked Girgashites, don't mess with them. Don't mess with these wicked Canaanites. When there's Susie Q right down the street that you went to, what? Now you know damn well don't believe in this Bible act. But you tell yourself, I can change her.
I could put a headscarf.
I can change her.
Yeah.
All I just need some time. She needs counsel.
Yeah, she needs counsel.
She needs counsel.
She's been through a lot.
She's gone through so much suffering, so much counsel and affliction. You know, she doesn't have a good relationship with her mother.
Yeah.
Oh, so that means that's why she don't believe in God, I? Come on, I. Yes, I.
Exactly. Sometimes you use the Bible to justify your own lust.
Yeah, and
All the time.
we use the Bible to justify our desire to control things.
Yes.
Because we think we can do more than the Most High can do.
And we know better.
I can fix her. Oh, the worst things you can do in your youth, that you can fix somebody. You can't fix a damn person.
That's 5 years.
Men and women do the same damn mistake. I know he a thug. But I can fix him. 3 babies later, guess what? I'm not going to sing the song.
Which one?
You know what song I'm talking about. I'm not singing it. But we be trying to think. No. The song you always sing to me in jest.
Oh, we can't sing that.
I'm not going to. I'm just saying.
Can't do that.
I'm not doing it. I'm just reminding you of what you was joking with me about. Anyway, what am I saying? Women, men, we're all in here trying to change the person that we're physically infatuated with, versus allowing the Most High to send you somebody that has a natural proclivity to want to embrace these scriptures.
We love to say, we love to pull. Christ was with the publicans and sinners.
We love that.
We love to utilize that to justify why we should be with publicans and sinners. That's where he was at.
So I mean,
You're so loving. You're so Christ-like.
Yeah, you're so Christ-like.
She said, "Poppy, I'm Christ-like now."
Yeah, bro. She is worth it. She's worth teaching and burning years off.
But brothers do pull some crazy angles when they want to. That's the truth.
And then what they end up doing is we get it all the time with brothers having issues in their marriage.
Yep.
My woman sits back here and she doesn't dress my daughters the way I want them to be dressed. She's constantly sitting back here and having the kids dance certain ways I don't like. Taking them to get clothes and dresses I don't like.
Too tight,
and usually it's the TV shows that you don't agree with.
Yes.
That's got this transgender, backdrop that you're like, man, turn that off. But she's like, there's nothing wrong with this. Yeah. They're gonna see it in school anyway.
It's funny.
It's part. It's normal now.
Yeah.
So then it's a struggle. Everything's a struggle. TV is a struggle. How they dress is a struggle. The music you listen to is a struggle. There's a struggle everywhere now because you're trying to collude and intermingle two opposing thought processes.
Yep. And it's too much work. Yes, sir?
I have a question.
What's up?
With that definition of murder, so when you have two opposing, I guess, lifestyles and thought processes, does one eventually become stronger than the other?
Okay.
Does one eventually replace the other?
Or what ends up happening, or the relationship gets so bad it splits.
Yep. It's
somebody's got to end up submitting and breaking, or it doesn't work out.
It's a compromise. Because you still got to ask yourself. It's a trade-off, really. There's no gains on either side, because you may get okay. I get to bring my kids to class.
Yeah,
that's about what you get. But when they get home, she controls how the house runs.
Yep.
Right.
So then outside the house, you got a little power. In the house, she got all the power.
So
it's
then,
a trade-off.
so guess what happens? The child gets to choose what influence they want to give themselves to.
Yep.
So the house is practically ruined.
Like America, you have the Democrats here, the Republicans here. They got the House. They got the Senate. It's just constant.
Well, it's the same. It's the same reason in a camp. You can't have a bunch of opposing figures at the top pushing directions a different way. Because if I sit back here and we have 3 guys now, and we have and say for instance us 3, we all see things differently about the direction of the camp. Then guess what's going to happen? The entire building is going to be split 3 ways. One faction is going to be with the standard that this man sets. Another faction is going to be with the standard that Shamshawan sets. And another faction is going to sit back here and go with the direction that I set. But what's going to actually get done in the building? Nothing. But this is what happens in a household the same way. How can 2 walk together unless they be agreed?
A house divided against itself shall not stand.
And that's the point. So what we have to sit back and understand is this is why marriage is so important.
The quality, they can function together, but the quality of the marriage and the quality of the household, the peace of mind in the household will always suffer.
Yep.
The agreement in the household, they can function together, but there will always be a struggle, and they won't really be satisfied. Neither one will be fulfilled for the purpose of what a marriage could really do.
Wow.
And reach the full potential of the purpose of why the Most High put a man and a woman together. Because they'll never see the real benefit. The only real benefit, he says, that they two shall become one flesh. Mm-hmm. And when you make that happen, then the marriage is at its peak. But they'll never experience a heavenly form of marriage. They always get a reduced, broken down, fractioned, argumentative, debative, no peace, no comfort, no tranquility, no joy. They never get to taste those things completely.
And then what happens is when a kid sees the husband and wife constantly arguing, they're going to say, I don't want this life for myself. And they'll blame it on the truth.
Or they'll go opposite of the person that their mother is. They'll say, I don't want nobody like my mother. Or they'll say, I don't want no man like my father.
Exactly.
They're going to go completely opposite of either way. Or they'll just say, I'm just going to stay neutral.
That's the point. So the problem is when the heads aren't united, when they are united, you give people less reason to distrust the process.
Yeah.
But when they see nothing but chaos and friction up the top, they're going like, why should I commit myself more to this? I have been in councils with families where the husband and wife are constantly at war with each other, and the kid is like, they're getting like 18, 19, like, I don't want to live this life.
This is crazy.
Being an Israelite don't make no sense to me. I'm getting out of here. I'm going to live my own life. Whose fault is it? Is it the fault of the person who was trying to push the Israelite way, or the woman who the man chose who didn't want to live this way anyway?
Or vice versa.
The problem was the choice in the first place. Well, and this is why, as you read in Ezra, the answer was just eradicating the entire influence out the picture. Because you can't fix it at that point.
So the Most High is actually showing us compassion also and giving us that order.
Because you know why? Because if that second generation would have came back and reared its ugly head in the nation, you would have had more split opinions, more split directions, more, I believe in being a Jew, but I'm going to still push this Canaanite thing also. And that's embedded in your blood now.
Well, that mixed philosophy of...
Now we're going to sit back and do this temple thing.
We're ingraining both.
And this Canaanite thing with the next generations all the way through until Christ came. This is why the Most High had to be like, we got to get this element out now before it spreads and becomes so far gone you can't control it.
Or you're going to have a Christmas tree with a menorah on top.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Real.
We're going to try to do both.
Real.
Kind of. And that's the reality of things. Shit.
Never mind.
We put shields and menorahs on the tree.
Come on.
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
That's opposite.
We're going to make both of them work.
Bro. Like I said. So where are we at in Deuteronomy? I think it's 7:3.
Yeah, 7 and 3.
It's nuts.
Deuteronomy chapter 7.
But you have to make the decision because you don't want to lose what you've been building for years.
Well,
so I see why it happened.
But that's the point.
We're laughing at it because that is crazy.
But when you put 10 years into a marriage,
it's not crazy when you put 10 years deep in.
But the thing is, that's the point. But Mosiah is trying to get us at the initial decision making. Why even venture into this path? But let's keep going.
Yeah, I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Let's say it's one of our people that did that, right? Like married into another nation. Are they stuck within that marriage, or do they still have the obligation to leave that marriage because they know it's not going to work?
Say it again from the top.
Now, I'm saying my question was, knowing that our people are not supposed to marry other nations, right? Let's say if they've been in there, like you said, 10 years, but the man wakes up and knows, like, damn, like I'm not even supposed to be with this person in the first place. It's not even working out. Do they have the out to that? Can they opt out, or are they just stuck in that marriage?
I guess the first answer would be let's go and try to keep it together. Because that's even what the scripture talks about in 1 Corinthians 7 about the believing wife or the believing husband and the unbelieving wife. The thing is if that unbelieving wife allows the husband to maintain the culture of the family
And the dominant influence.
because that's the other aspect of
Conversation.
the conversation in this class, because the issue wasn't as much about the other nation as much as the other nation was given mistress status. Mistress status goes into the fact that the woman had the power to make decisions in the home.
Now my question is this.
I want to make sure that sticks.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily about the fact the woman is another nation. The issue is you're giving power to a woman that doesn't believe. And now she has the power to wield the family
The direction.
whatever direction that she wants to in her wickedness. That's the problem. And that's the problem that we're going to read during the time of Moses and the Midianite women. And we're reading about this in Ezra chapter 9. These women were given carte blanche to run the house as they saw fit. This is why it says don't go into these contracts with them. Don't make them official. Don't make them official to where they have the power
The lawful
to
power.
sit back here and push their kids into eating what the hell she wants them to eat. Into sitting back here and pushing their kids into the idolatry that she wants them to put into.
And I would say this, brother, when it comes to coming into this truth, Christ said, if a man hate not mother, father, sister, brother, son, daughter, wife, yea, even his own life, he's not fit to be my disciple. So if anybody's keeping you away from this knowledge, anybody's adverse or standing in opposition to you getting this truth, they're on the chopping block.
Yep.
Whether they're of a nation or not, whether they're of your own people or not.
Yep. And see, that's why I'm trying to make it so y'all understand it's not just about nations. That's why I went to Leviticus 21:7. About what type? It was the profane woman.
Yeah.
That was talking about Israelites.
And
Women that don't believe in what you believe. And there's a lot of women that are
Profane.
Israelites by nationality, but don't respect this at all.
And what we're reading in Deuteronomy right now is what the Most High is doing as a preventative measure so you don't have to have this conversation later.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be having this conversation later if we would have been following Deuteronomy chapter 7. He said, when you come in this land, eradicate these people.
Yep.
Don't make no covenants with them. But guess what we do now?
Exactly that.
How many interracial relationships we got in America?
1 million?
How many Blake Griffins we got?
A lot of Blake Griffins out. Red Rockets out.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them out. Con.
Patrick Mahomes.
Yep.
And we're saying that because these are products of doing things without understanding the Bible first. And the issue is, what product are the children going to be? Not on a genetic level. We're dealing with a spiritual level because the Most High is a spirit.
Because the reason I'm even going here
Yeah.
is because, I've heard other Israelites talk about this Mamzar thing about, if a man, is an Israelite man deals with another nation and that kid is not chosen anymore and that kid's cursed. That's all craziness, man. That wasn't why they were kicked out. That wasn't why the kids and the women in Ezra 9 were kicked out. They were kicked out because of the influence that next generation was going to set the tone. That would have been the third generation after the restoration. if the second generation was getting weak, the third generation would have been just completely absent against or opposing against serving the Most High. So this was about nipping the spirit of rebellion towards the Most High in the bud. And nothing to do with the kids and the woman and the non-Israelite woman. It wasn't about that, because you're going to read later on why the Most High was okay with us having a concubine but not a wife. What's the damn difference?
So what does it say?
That's what I'm saying. There is a difference between the wife status and the concubine status. It wasn't about the nation. It was about the power that the nation was given to wield to influence in the house. That was the problem. We had concubines all throughout history. Did not Moses marry an Ethiopian?
And as soon as Miriam and Aaron talked against her, she got hit with leprosy.
Yeah. The thing is this, but that Ethiopian wasn't pushing no Ethiopian shit in the house. I tell you that. That's the difference. Listen, David had a Syrian wife, and that kid ended up being Absalom. But you think that Assyrian wife was pushing Assyrian stuff? Why did the Most High have the problem with Solomon? Was it the fact that he had other nations, or that he gave them power in his household and he started following their gods?
700 wives, 300 concubines.
Which one was the problem? It was the fact that he gave them the power to influence him. That was the problem.
Like Adam.
And they said they will turn your heart from following me.
Khan. But he gave them that power. So listen, let's continue in Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 3 from the top again. Let's continue.
Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 3. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them.
So real quick, just for clarification, we're not attacking mixed children.
That's the point.
We're not. I'm just clarifying because so people understand. This council, this class, is not talking about mixed children. This class talking about the dominant religious perspective in the house.
And this is why I said what I said about that Mamzar's push that these weirdo Israelites be pushing sometimes. But yeah, if you're mixed, then you're not going to get to the kingdom. There's Israelites that push that. Yeah. There's Israelites that push this, and they call them Mams. It's not even in the damn Bible. These guys, what is this talking about? But if you sit back and actually read the scriptures, you realize it wasn't about the husband being an Israelite and the wife being a nation. It wasn't about that. It was about fighting for the influence in the household. That is always what it was about. And if you allow the influence to fester, now you have mixed kids, weirdo kids in the mind, mixed in their relationship with the Heavenly Father, undecided in their belief to serve the Most High or not.
You're bringing confusion.
You're bringing confusion, moral and spiritual confusion in the household. It wasn't about the physical.
That's polluting the spirit of the nation.
And then it was going to be an attack against the nation down the line.
Yes.
They were rebuilding the nation in general.
Did we have
at the time of Ezra?
Did we have a class about that? We dropped a class about kings, and one of the kings brought in Jezebel.
Now Jezebel did this. Listen, Ahab did the same thing. He brought in Jezebel, and she served the Zidonian gods. And I remember Ahab was so weak. He offered to buy this man's land, and the guy said no. And he had a little pity pout party in his bed. And he didn't take the money.
Yeah,
he didn't take the money. I'm mad. He actually did that. Yeah. And the wife said, "You're the king, right? Don't worry about it. I got you. I'm gonna take your royal ring and do some dog shit and make this happen. And roll like you should be rolling." That verse there let me know who wore the pants in the Ahab residence.
Yeah,
it was his Zidonian woman who ran his house like a Zidonian. And also his daughter, Ahab's daughter that he had with Jezebel, Athaliah, guess what she did? She helped wreck the southern kingdom too.
Yep.
Because, if I'm not mistaken, Jehoshaphat had his son marry Athaliah.
It was that allegiance between Ahab and Jehoshaphat.
It ended up stinging him. But that connection ended up stinging him and the southern kingdom later on. Because of the influence and power Ahab gave Jezebel years earlier. So it wasn't as much about the nation, the choosing of another nation, as much about allowing that nation influence to be a major part of how the house is developed and ran. Does that make sense? So when you're dealing with marriage in general, your first mindset has to be about choosing somebody who is moldable and willing to let you run your house like the scriptures say it needs to be run, which means she has to believe in it, or you're going to have problems. Okay. 7 and 3, Deuteronomy.
Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 3. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughters shalt thou take unto thy son. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Most High be kindled against you, and destroy thee suddenly.
So it wasn't about the physical mate as much as the influence that the physical mate was bringing to the table. Read on.
Verse 5. But thus shall ye deal with them. Ye shall destroy their altars, and break down their images, and cut down their groves, and burn their graven images with fire.
Now let that go. So that Deuteronomy chapter 7 just showed how we had to just wipe out that influence out of the entire land of Canaan that we were about to enter into. Right?
The Most High doesn't want any competition when it comes to you serving him and your allegiance to him. Mm-hmm. He wants to eradicate any competition, though.
Yep. So we're going to go to Deuteronomy 21, verse 10 through 13 next. Deuteronomy 21, verse 10 through 13.
Deuteronomy chapter 21 and verse 10.
Let me get it. I'm just typing a few verses in real quick. Deuteronomy 21. Read that, sir. Read that.
Deuteronomy chapter 21 and verse 10. When thou goest forth to war against thine enemies, and the Most High thy power have delivered them into thine hands, and thou hast taken them captive.
So this is dealing with the law of war. So you go to war, you take out your enemies, you wipe them off the map, men are dead, the power is being transferred into the Jews' hands. Everything's good. Read on.
It says, and seest among the captives a beautiful woman, and has a desire unto her.
So you see something bad that's left after all the smoke and stuff is cleared. And you see a woman and you say she's fine. And I would like to have her.
I would like to see her.
He took the words right out of my mouth. That's where I was thinking when I said it. Read on.
It says, that thou wouldest have her to thy wife. Then.
So listen. So now he's talking about another nation. Your enemies aren't the Jews, is it?
No.
It ain't like, man, when you go in and go to Ephraim and you take them, you get what you want. It's not talking about that. It's talking about the nations. Read on.
Verse 12.
So he says, you can have her as your wife. So what's the difference? Now it's confusing. We just read in Deuteronomy chapter 7, you can't deal with the nations. You can't marry them. Because they're going to sit back and turn you left and turn you against the Heavenly Father. But in a war situation, you see something that you want, you can take it. That on a very superficial level sounds confusing. Right?
Well, the Bible, when people say, well, the Bible contradicts itself.
Well,
that's why I don't subscribe to the Bible.
Well, this isn't contradictory. Yeah. There is a reason behind it. Read on.
It says, then thou shalt bring her home to thine house, and she shall shave her head and pare her nails.
That's a form of humiliation. She should shave her hair and shave her nails, trim her nails down, and that's a sign of being humble. Read on.
And she shall put the raiment of her captivity from off her, and shall remain in thine house, and bewail her father and her mother a full month.
Give her a month to grieve the loss. And after that month, she's yours. Read on.
And after that, thou shalt go in unto her, and be her husband, and she shall be thy wife.
The question is this. When it says she's going to be your wife, there is a different connotation with this wife with the wife you're talking about in Deuteronomy chapter 7. What are the similarities between the two in Deuteronomy 7 and Deuteronomy 21? There's both physical intercourse in both situations that determines marriage, because sex constitutes marriage in the scriptures. The difference is position in the household, say in the household,
Control.
authority in the household, power in the household. That's the difference. In this situation in Deuteronomy 21, she didn't have no say. She didn't have an opinion on how the household is run. She didn't have an opinion about what her belief is in comparison to the Israelite way of doing things. If she's in your house, she was going to follow the Israelite way. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. That is the difference in the situation. Versus in Deuteronomy 7, we were sitting back here and putting our Superman shirt on and doing everything we could to get into these contracts and covenants with these women.
But I love her.
To do whatever we could to compromise and fit in so we can be accepted. So we compromised our belief system and thus destroyed our family structure and got us all serving idols. But how can you read in one chapter, don't deal with the nations, versus in this chapter, we had concubines?
Confused.
It's not confusion as long as we understand the custom and how things are. And there's plenty of scriptures giving you the entire process of how things went down. Let's look at the definition of concubine real quick.
Concubine, 1828, Webster's Dictionary. A woman who cohabits with a man without the authority of a legal marriage.
And that's the thing. Without the authority to make decisions in the household. Under that circumstance, was a man allowed to have a woman of another nation at the time? Now, do we sit back here, are we sitting back here and pushing that that's how it's got to be now? No. But for the sake of understanding the scriptures, we need to understand the scriptures and what they mean. The nations were allowed to be dealt with as wives as long as they didn't have any power in the household. The problem was in Ezra 9 and in other chapters we're going to read, we were giving these women the power. And when we give these women the power, now all of a sudden they're going to push their idolatrous ways, which ended up having a negative effect on the nation.
On the children.
On the children and on the nation and on the men. Because they were sitting back here and splitting their heart with the idols also. And this is what Ezra was stressing out about. It was about the legal power and authority that these men were giving these women. Yes, sir.
So could Hagar be semi?
We're going to go into it. We're going to go into Hagar too. That is on the menu, sir.
Right.
For sure, for sure. Let's matter of fact, that's the next verse. I'm looking for something because I could have swore I had another extended part on that. Give me 1 second, y'all. Let's go to Genesis 16 verse 1 through 3. Give me a second.
Genesis chapter 16.
Hold on 1 second.
Give me a second, sir.
Give me this real quick. Ecclesiastes, while War's looking for that. Ecclesiastes chapter 13. And Start at verse 16.
Con. Ecclesiastes chapter 13 and verse 16. All flesh consorteth according to kind.
See, the Most High got red birds fly with who? Red birds. Crows fly with who?
Crows.
You don't see crows and doves intermingling. You don't see ducks and hawks flying together. The Most High said all flesh. It says consorted to what?
According to kind.
The way the Most High made animals have an allegiance to their own type, their own kind, their own species, their own genome. Killer whales roll with killer whales. You know what I'm saying? You got hippos and you got crocodiles. They share the water, but they don't play with each other.
Yeah.
Even the crocodiles don't mess with the hippos. They tear them up. The hippos will chew them up. So he said all animals, the way the Most High made all animals and all, he made them to cleave to their type. So even from the beginning of time, who's the one that's trying to intermingle, split genomes, make a chicken and a turkey the same species? Who's the only one doing that? Humans. We're the only ones that's trying to make a damn sheep have the same constitution as a pig. We're the ones that's, a liger. We're the ones that's crossing breeds, making tigers and ligers mate donkeys and mules. We're the ones doing that mess. But the way the Most High got it set up, hey, these animals stay with these animals. These animals are for these animals. Read on.
And it says, and a man will cleave to his life.
The problem is who? Men.
Yep.
Men is the only one that will contort and twist. The Most High said, he said, my people twist my words every day. They wrest my words. That word rest, R-W-R-E-S-T, means to twist like a wrestler. That's where you get the word wrestler from. It means to twist. We the ones that love to twist the scriptures. We try to make what we want fit in the Bible. The Most High have a direct separation of things, but we're the ones that like to collude and just mash in and twist it to fix what we like. I'm gonna find a verse to make it fit. I'm gonna try to make this fit. Read on.
It says, what fellowship have the wolf with the lamb?
He said, wolves do not roll with lambs. One is the prey and one is the predator. They are not meant to sleep together, hang together, to share the same area. Yes, sir.
No woolly wolves.
No who?
No woolly wolves.
No woolly wolves. Right. Wolves that produce wool. You know what I'm saying? Coats and jackets. You know what I'm saying? But he's showing you that their natures are different. They're two different natures. It's no different when Jacob and Esau was born. He said 2 manner of people is born in thy womb. Get that definition of manner real quick in 1828. Let's give you some time.
I'm good. Yeah, I found it.
Okay.
It was later on. I was trying to drive it here, but it was later.
Okay, when we come back and get it. All right, finish that manner.
Manner, come.
When Jacob and Esau was born, he told Rebekah, "There's 2 manner of people in thy womb." Yeah. Read what you got for manner.
Manner, 1828 Webster's Dictionary. Point number 1. Form, method.
He said there's 2 different forms of people. Although you got twins, they're not going to be the same. Mm-hmm. They got 2 different forms of doing things. And when you look at Jacob and Esau, the way we do things, the way Esau do things is completely different.
Yeah.
What else?
It says way of performing or executing.
The way we do every damn thing be opposite. The way we cook be different. The way we spank our children or chastise our children different. 1, 2, 3.
Time out, Billy.
No, wait. You know, for us, it's
you to think about.
I should think about this in the corner.
You're like, that's all I gotta do. I knocked that out in a few minutes.
You're stupid, Mom. Man, you. That's not how we deal with our children. We got two different ways of forms of manners of molding our children, rearing our children up.
So one's gonna have to adjust to the other.
Yep.
For things to have to be right, if that is the situation that people are in. You got it?
Yeah, finish that just real quick, and then I'm going to just finish that last verse of 17. Go ahead. The definition of manner.
Okay, definition of manner. Way of service or worship.
So even the Most High, when he made Jacob and Esau, when he said it's 2 manners of people, he's telling you that these two people will have two different forms of worship. When you go into a Jake church, it's a lot of hollering. It's a lot of rolling on the floor. It's a lot of breakdancing going on.
A lot of breakdancing. There's a lot of breakdancing.
There's a lot of juking.
Yeah.
Juking and you know what I'm saying?
Pop locking.
Pop locking and dancing. But when you go into Esau church, it's
that is the truth. It is extra cold.
Yeah.
It's quiet. Yes, bro.
And then you get real sleepy.
Yes.
So, but he's showing you. He said the Most High put these two distinctly different types of people in the same womb, but they weren't meant to be together. Only in America we try to call it it's the great melting pot. We try to melt all these cultures together. You try to melt these belief systems together. We do that in America. Man does that. But read verse 17.
Come. Ecclesiastes chapter 13 and verse 17. What fellowship have the wolf with the lamb?
Go ahead.
So the sinner with the godly.
So the sinners are supposed to be separate from who? The godly. This is the purpose of what the Most High is doing, and why he's giving us Deuteronomy chapter 7 and showing us how the sinners are supposed to be separate from the godly. You're not supposed to commingle the two. But it happens, so it just so happens to be that if you're in war and you see a beautiful woman, you get to take her, but she has to adopt your lifestyle. She has to adopt your way of living. She has to adopt your tenets, your commandments.
And there's no question about the direction of the household, how the children are going to be raised, how everything's going to get done. There's no question.
It's not a struggle.
But we become Tiger Woods and what's that dude in that movie? The last Dragon.
What? Tiger Woods and the guy from Last Dragon.
We become Bruce Leroy, huh? We completely adopt their culture and forget our own.
Well, that's what the problem is. And we're going to go into history, kind of proving that. But before we go into that history part, let's go to and read Genesis 16, verse 1 through 3. Did you finish your verse?
Yeah, he's good. Yeah.
Okay, 16 and 1 through 3. It's about that time for Karai to leave out too.
Genesis chapter 16 and verse 1. Now, Sarai, Abram's wife, bare him no children, and she had an handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar. And Sarai said unto Abram, Behold, now the Most High hath restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go in unto my maid.
Now, real quick, this chapter is important because that woman that was a spoil of war in Deuteronomy chapter 21, who did she have to answer to?
The wife.
She was the handmaid of the wife. And this was the culture of how things ran. She had to sit back here and answer to the mistress of the house, the head woman of the house, while serving the man at his beckoning call. That was how she was put in order. She had to lock into the wife. So this was how she was humbled. And this is how she was,
that was the role
her
role she played.
Couldn't prosper and push. She had to serve the head wife. So it wasn't about what she wanted and how she wanted and her feelings. No, she served the head wife. And then when the husband had needs, that's how he dealt with it. But that was how the house ran back in those days. Does that make sense? So when she sat back here after that 30 days of mourning for her people, she had to sit back here and serve the wife, the head mistress of the house. And she began to be the handmaid of the head wife, while also giving and doing whatever the house was necessary to have.
She was under orders.
She was under orders, not just with the man, but under the wife also. And that's how the structure of the house operated at that time. So was it about the nation, or was it about the power that we gave these nations? It was the power we gave them. Okay? Because under numerous circumstances, like in Genesis 16, there were handmaids of other nations that served the leaders or the heads of the households and the husbands. The head wife of the household and the husband.
But everybody knew what it was.
Everybody knew what it was, and there was no confusion.
And then to answer your question on if you can go back to Deuteronomy 21 and read verse 14 to answer your question, Karad, that you asked earlier.
Okay, come. Deuteronomy chapter 21 and verse 14. It says, "And it shall be, if thou have no delight in her."
And this is the one that was taken as a spoil of war. This is that concubine taken as a spoil of war. It said, if you have no delight in her, go ahead.
"Then thou shalt let her go."
Now remember, whose advice was it to send off Hagar?
It was the
No, that was Sarah.
That was Sarah. That was Sarah's decision.
And she had the power to do so.
so do as you see fit.
Yeah. Because she had the power over her in the first place. But there is a reason. There is a reason that she did that. See, you have to go. I go over, break it down now. Okay, listen. We're gonna hit it. Let's go back to the point.
Okay.
I was gonna set it up different, but that's cool. We'll do it this way. Let's run it. We're gonna run verse 2 all the way down to verse 5, and then we're going to Josephus real quick. Do some explaining.
Genesis or?
In Genesis
Okay,
16. Let me change it up real quick for the sake of clarification. 16 verse 1 through 5.
Come.
And then we're going to do Josephus, book 1, chapter 10, paragraph 4.
Come.
Yeah, so let's do Genesis 16.
Genesis chapter 16 and verse 2. "And Sarai said unto..."
If you want to. We already read one. We can read it again. Read it in.
Genesis chapter 16 and verse 1. "Now Sarai, Abram's wife, bare him no children, and she had an handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar. And Sarai said unto Abram, Behold, now the Most High have restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go in unto my maid."
So the maid served the head wife. She lost faith. She lost patience. The Most High was going to give her a son. So she gave Sarah gave Hagar to Abraham.
Her decision, man.
It was her decision. Read on.
"It may be that I may obtain children by her. And Abram hearkened unto the voice of Sarai.
Okay.
And Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian, after Abram had dealt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband, Abram, to be his wife."
So was she made wife to be over Sarah, or was she his concubine? She was his concubine, but because he laid down with her, that was his wife, right?
Yeah.
But the position of the household was quite clear. Sarah was the head of the household, right? Read on.
Verse 4. "And he went in unto Hagar, and she conceived. And she saw that she had conceived. Her mistress was despised in her eyes."
Now listen, when it says her mistress, who is the mistress? The mistress is Sarah. Because let's look up mistress real quick. There's a couple definitions for mistress, but we're going to get the main one.
Mistress, 1828, Webster's Dictionary.
Give me number 2.
Point number 2. The female head of a family.
The female head of the family. That is the position that the nations were fighting for, that had their beliefs and their idols. Once the nations who had their idol beliefs were made head of the family, and the husband, what's he going to do? She's going to push her ways like he's going to push his ways. But in this situation...
So you're saying that when I'm making that marriage contract, that contract was part of that contract is me telling that the father of that other nation,
she's the head,
that your daughter is going to be the head of my son's house.
Yes.
Of the head wife.
Yes.
Of my son's house.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was where the idolatry started running rampant, because they gave the power to do it. So now this mistress, which was Sarah, was being despised in the eyes of Hagar once Hagar got pregnant. We're going to read this. Go to Josephus, book 1, chapter 10, paragraph 4.
Josephus, Antiquity of the Jews, book 1, chapter 10,
Paragraph 4.
paragraph 4. It reads, page 40, line 186. Now Abram dwelt near the oak called Ogus. The place belongs to Canaan, not far from the city of Hebron. But being uneasy at his wife's barrenness, he entreated the Most High to grant that he might have male issue.
Have a son, a male child. Read on.
And the Most High required of him to be of good courage, and said that he would add to all the rest of the benefits that he had bestowed on him ever since he led him out of Mesopotamia, the gift of children.
So they both, Sarah and Abraham, had to wait and be patient, and they would have the child that they desired. But Sarah had lost patience and made moves on her own, and it stung her. Read on.
Accordingly, Sarai, at the Most High's command, brought to his bed one of her handmaidens, a woman of Egyptian descent, in order to obtain children by her. And when this handmaid was with child,
So when Hagar got pregnant, read on.
she triumphed and ventured to affront Sarai.
So now we're going to go into affront. What does affront mean?
Affront, 1828, Webster's Dictionary. It says,
Matter of fact, let's go to the noun version number 1. It's the second number 1
con,
and number 2.
con. Affront, 1828, Webster's Dictionary. Point number 1. Now, opposition to the face, open defiance, encounter.
So she lost respect when she got pregnant. Then she made this steps like she was the power broad. Now
I'm the boss.
I'm the boss. I don't got to respect you anymore because I got the kid. Now it makes sense as to why Sarah said she got to go, and the kid got to go. Because it's the same reason the child and the mother had to go here, and the child and the mother had to go in Ezra, because those opposing women and children was going to be too much of a negative influence in the house.
Because what she's saying is, I got one up on you.
Yeah, and now I got power now.
Yep.
Now I got power and leverage that you don't have.
What you gonna say?
So now Abraham's going to sit back here and side with me because I got the baby. Now it's a power struggle in the house. So the Most High allowed Hagar and the baby Ishmael to leave to eliminate that power struggle. And if you read down in Genesis 16, there was an issue, and Sarah felt that Hagar and Ishmael might do something to the kid, to Isaac.
He was already mocking him.
He was mocking him, so what's the next step? He might try to injure him. So that influence got to get out of this house. So what's being influenced? What's getting eliminated? The influence is getting eliminated. Just like in Ezra. It wasn't about the kid. It was about the influence that had to leave.
Yeah.
We want to get caught up with the baby and the woman, but the influence was too strong.
So had Hagar stayed in her place, it'd be a different outcome.
Yep.
She wouldn't have had to get kicked out to the curb.
If she would have stayed in order.
And then finish that in Deuteronomy 21 and 14 that we had read earlier.
Is all this coming together making sense?
Con. Deuteronomy chapter 21. What verse again?
14.
14. It says, and it shall be, if thou have no delight in her, then thou shalt let her go whither she will.
She got to go. Go ahead.
But thou shalt not sell her at all.
It can't be
Not merchandise.
It's not about financial gain, financial profit, some kind of win. This is strictly biblical, religious perspective and order.
Because when you
preserving the influence.
But when you lose that woman, you're losing another form of help.
Yeah.
So another man will say, I got to get something in return for that. You can go, but I need some payment for that. I need compensation for that because I lost another income. I lost another producer. Yep. So what a man will do is try to get a reward off the rebound, off the loss.
That's true.
But this was what it's saying is the decision has to be made for the right reasons.
Yep.
And it's got to be about protecting the integrity of the household and making sure that the influence is proper and the order in the household is proper. Because it was the power struggle in Genesis 16. And Abraham was like, you know what, I don't want to lose this boy, but they're going to be going to war together this entire time. And that's why the angel said, let him go. Let her go.
This was the reason why Adam had to get kicked out of the garden. He said, because you submitted to your wife. Well, so that was a power struggle. Adam gave in to what Eve was to Eve's influences. And so the fall of man began because of influence, too much influence over the man.
That's so true.
So that influence with the Most High, there has to be a separation.
Yeah. So this is the reasoning behind Ezra 9, the reasoning behind Genesis 16. It is not about the nation as much as about the influence and the power struggle that was going on in the households that was going to affect how smoothly the home operated. Yes, sir.
I'll say as another example of that, Deuteronomy chapter 21, when it deals with that rebellious son, before the elders because he doesn't listen after you chastise him.
God, you got to keep the house in order. The house has got to stay right and at peace at all cost. Yes.
She was causing like an environment disparity.
She was affronting her mistress.
Yeah.
It shows you how you can't be out of order in any arena. She was supposed to serve Sarah, not sit back here now because you got a baby and you now you can't be told what to do. And now you have your son, he's older, and they're mocking him. Now they're gonna start picking on him. Now when nobody's watching, is Ishmael gonna take him out? Because think about this, that's the next step to be the heir of the household.
Yeah.
You take out the heir. So Ishmael will be the legitimate heir after that.
And it makes sense.
So Sarah's like, I got to get this guy out, and this woman who's the mastermind behind the affronting of the household, they got to go for the sake of the house.
Yeah, second definition of affront too.
Yeah, that's what I got. Give me the second one.
Second definition of affront: ill treatment, abuse, anything reproachful or contemptuous that excites or justifies resentment as foul language.
So what does a person start doing when they got the upper hand?
Abusing
They're talking that talk, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have different words for it. Sticking your chest out.
Yeah.
Banging your chest.
Peacocking.
Peacocking. Yeah, that's different.
That's different.
But you know that's what we start doing. The head gets swollen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can't be told anything.
God.
You start bucking up. You popping off at the mouth.
That's it.
All these are different words that we use for saying to say. That's somebody that's showing an affront. That means that person no longer has respect, and they have no more reverence for order.
Yeah.
For structure. No different than men with men in a camp setting. Young men shouldn't be popping off the elder men.
God.
Young sisters shouldn't be popping off the elder sisters.
No doubt.
That's confusion, man.
God. And so let's go back. So we got a front. We need to finish up this Josephus real quick. Let's get to where it says, accordingly, Sarai, at the Most High's commandment.
That's the end.
Let's get you saluted real quick.
Yeah.
Nagaha, Shal Shabbatah, Ban Shemai 1, Ban Yashala.
Nagaha, Shal Shabbatah, Ban Shemai 1, Ban Yashala. Amazing. Right? Yahweh Hashem Yashem Rakatah.
Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Rakatah.
All right.
Wow.
So it says, accordingly, Sarai.
The end of line 187 on page 40. Accordingly, Sarai, at the Most High's command, brought to his bed one of her handmaidens, a woman of Egyptian descent, in order to obtain children by her. And when this handmaid was with child, she triumphed and ventured to affront Sarai.
All of a sudden, now she had the power and leverage. Now I can be disrespectful to the person I'm supposed to serve and be obedient to. Read on. You see how now this whole story makes more sense.
Yep.
Right? Read on.
It's not that Sarah's
cruel.
insecure.
She's
cruel.
insecure.
Yeah.
No, it had nothing to do with that. Yeah, she was
Not
putting.
that.
It wasn't that. This woman was out of pocket, out of order, and there was a danger to her son.
That's a good lesson in general about order. It's
Yep.
a great lesson about that.
And about the household in general, and how, listen, the other nations weren't supposed to have any say in how the Israelite house was run.
This is what
If there
happens.
was going to be a concubine, she couldn't have any say in how the house was run. That was up to the mistress of the house. What you gonna say?
I'm gonna say this is what happens when people don't stay in their lane.
Yeah.
When you got in that situation, Hagar didn't stay in her lane. In households, sometimes people in inferior positions got to know their place and they got to know their lane and stay in their lane. And if not, then it causes confusion.
Combo.
Troubles, man. That's where the troubles start.
Yeah.
That's just the beginning of troubles too, right? It gets worse over time.
Okay. So let's continue, sir.
Line 188. And when his handmaid was with child, she triumphed and ventured to affront Sarai, as if the dominion were to come, as if the dominion were to come to a son to be born of her.
She thought her son was going to be the heir, and if the son was the heir, she would be the heir's mother,
And she was pushing.
and she would be
over.
over Sarah. So why would I have to respect and be in order with Sarah anymore? I'm going to be the head wife, and I'm going to tell you what the hell to do now.
Because my
She was
son,
feeling herself.
because my son is about to take charge.
Exactly.
That was the motivation behind her pride.
So now Sarah's like, okay, that means she's going to fight to keep her son in the head position by any means necessary.
Game of Thrones.
So what ended up happening, it'd be Game of Thrones stuff, and my son Isaac will end up being dead in some accident.
Wow.
So and Isaac and Ishmael would be the head again.
Yeah.
So I got to get these guys out of here.
Wow.
And this is why the Moses said, I'm going to take care of them. I understand you're thinking, Sarah. Get them out. So listen. So first of all, this also lets us know that God's okay with moving out negative-ass environments and people who don't fit with the body. And he don't call those people bad for moving negative influences out of the body. That's a good thing.
The scripture says,
Because what's more important?
cast out the scorner.
And contention will what?
Shall cease.
Thank you.
It shall cease.
It shall cease. So, let's continue.
But when Abram resigned her into the hand of Sarai to punish her, she contrived.
He said Abram resigned her into the hand of Sarai. Why? Because Sarai had the power over that part of the house.
That's
And it was up to Sarah to do what she wanted to do with her handmaid.
She still ran it by her.
She was the mistress of that. Yes, you're right.
She still ran it by Abraham to let him know what she desired to do.
And then while he was pondering on it, the angel said, let her do it.
Yep.
So he said, go do what you got to do. I'll give her a piece of bread and some water and get them on out. Go on now. Go on now. Go on now. Hit the horse. Get the horse out of there, man. What's the point?
Spring water.
The Most High was gonna. You know those big old like those cowboy canisters out there you drinking like this. It's no more water.
Yeah, look at that goat skin.
Yeah, the leather when you squeeze the leather.
It's like the belly of a goat.
Yeah, you like this.
You drinking out one of the nipples.
Yeah. Oh man, that's awesome. What's the point? The Most High honored that banishment for the sake of the order in his house, and he ended up taking care of Hagar and Ishmael also, right? Just like the Most High ended up taking care of those Israelite children in Ezra 9. You just don't read about it. He ended up taking care of them. He was going to take care of their children one way or the other. And they were going to be no different than the other Israelites running around here being Vikings and damn Visigoths and barbarians and Brits. So the point is this. The Most High had to make sure that the house was run right. The order of the house, order for camp, is more important than anybody's personal feelings. You can sit back and read Genesis 16 and say, man, Hagar got a raw deal. She got kicked out in the damn desert. That's not cool. That's cruel. That's not brotherly. There's no brotherhood there. There's no love. But you know what? The Most High was like, what's more important, the love or the order of the damn direction of the household? The answer is B. The direction of the household is more important than the love. Yes, Taiwan.
You know, like you're bringing out, she brought it on herself.
Well, you know why? Because she was out of order. And she didn't see eye to eye with the mistress.
That's why it wasn't unfair. It was righteous.
Thank
Yeah,
you. Say it again, bro.
She found
Say
out.
it again.
Yeah.
She found out in the
It
house.
was righteous.
God, now.
Ecclesiastes 33:22.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 33, verse 2.
22. 22.
22.
Mm-hmm.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 33, verse 22.
Come on.
In all thy works, keep to thyself the preeminence.
There you go.
The definition of preeminence: superiority in excellence,
Wow.
priority of place.
That's a heavy point right there.
Priority of place.
Because we always break down the excellence and the excellence and the
Yeah,
excellence.
you got to keep the number one dignity.
Yeah, we always keep that
Yeah.
point. But we never say that second point.
That second point is it says priority of place.
Yep.
The priority, the importance of the position.
Yes,
Yeah.
the Most High had honored Sarah as the one that's in priority in that relationship.
Yep.
She couldn't be subverted. The Most High wouldn't let Hagar subvert her from that priority of place. She wouldn't let her assume a position of authority over her number one position as the head wife. And that's a major point. Read on.
In all thy works, keep to thyself the preeminence. Leave not a stain in thine honor.
Because what happens is you start to bring in confusion and you cause a stain in your honor when you start subjecting yourself to letting people get out of order and get out of control. Then you start to ruin the good that's in the union. You start to. This is why he said one sinner destroyed what?
Much good.
Much good. You let that one sinner in, it's going to destroy and contaminate everything good.
Yep.
Let the devil in, right?
Yep. Somebody let the devil in.
So you can't let him in
That's it from that.
That's on multiple fronts.
on multiple fronts.
It's not just at Abraham's house.
It's
It's,
a
it's
marriage
in Abraham's house, it's in a marriage, it's in a camp, it's in a school, it's everywhere. That doesn't change. This concept doesn't change across the board. Among sisters, the whole nine. So, let's finish up where it says, but when, yes.
Midway in line 188. But when Abram resigned her into the hand of Sarai to punish her, she contrived to fly away, as not able to bear the instances of Sarai's severity to her.
Listen, Sarai was going to hit her hard. But think about this. Sarai was going to deal with her based on the level of affronting she received. That's the truth. Now listen. Let's go real quick and let this go. I don't want to go any further on this part. Let's go back to Genesis 16 and 5 now.
Genesis chapter 16, verse 5. Let me slow down.
No, you're good. Yeah.
Genesis chapter 16, verse 5. And Sarai said unto Abram, my wrong be upon thee.
Sarah was like, I messed up. I shouldn't have gave my power away to this woman. Or I shouldn't have gave her to you because I didn't realize she was going to fight for power. She was still supposed to sit back here, have a child for Abram, and still maintain her position.
You know what I love about this point? My wrong be upon thee means she had the ability to admit her faults.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a major issue amongst Israel in general.
Yep.
Especially in households, brothers' houses, jobs, kids. It's hard for men and women to admit their faults. That's a point of humility from the sister. That's beautiful.
Yep. Come on. Let's go. Keep going.
My wrong be upon thee. I have given my maid into thy bosom. And when she saw that she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes. The Most High judge between me and thee.
So, like, the Most High knew what she was doing behind your back, Abraham. And the Most High is going to defend me in this move. And the Spirit did. Because the angel told Abraham, let this broad go. She can kick rocks. Because she was out of order with her handmaid. With her mistress. Well, you see how we're kind of building this point? It wasn't wrong to have a concubine, but that concubine had to serve the mistress who was an Israelite. That way, how the house ran, how things were, the religion, the belief system, direction stayed on point with the mistress of the house. And that concubine's non-Israelite belief system got squashed at the beginning. It didn't get any room to be influenced on the children in the home. Even if that Israelite man had a child with that concubine. that child was going to be raised the same way those other Israelites were going to be raised. And that's how you secured the house being in line spiritually the right way, organized. And the difference with this in comparison to what happened in Ezra and in Numbers was that we were sitting back here losing our damn mind, doing everything we could just to keep some woman that was a non-Israelite happy. Let's go into that next. Joshua, chapter 4. I said Joshua, Slakia, Josephus. Book 4, chapter 6, paragraph 7.5 to 8.
Page 111.
Let me get it. I'm typing and doing a whole bunch of, and then I want to type another verse in real quick. Then we're going back to Numbers, because Numbers in the scriptures doesn't go as detailed as Josephus. So we want to go into this Josephus first and see how he's willing to throw it all away for these nations, and see the comparison to what we were going over earlier. So, Antiquities of the Jews, book 4, chapter 6, paragraph 7.5. Let's just read it from the top. 7 and 8.
All right. Book 4, chapter 6, paragraph 7, page 111. So when the Midianites had sent their daughters, and as Balaam had exhorted them, the Hebrew young men were allured by their beauty.
Just we make sure Balaam told the people of Midian and Moab, if you want to break these Jews down, I can't curse them. But if you want to break them down, go at their young men, send women to them, and they will compromise their belief system. That's the way you break them. So these Midianites follow Balaam in his instruction. Read on.
The Hebrew young men were allured by their beauty, and came to discourse with them, and besought them not to grudge them the enjoyment of their beauty, nor to deny them their conversation.
Listen, I just want to talk. I just want to talk with you. I just can't enjoy this looking at you, man. I just want to have a conversation with you. How come you ain't smiling? You ain't smiling enough. Let's talk.
Yeah. What is your
Yeah, them lame Jake Angles act. What's your name? What's your sign? What's your zodiac sign?
Excuse me, miss.
You a Sagittarius, ain't you? I already know you Sag. You a Sag, ain't you? You an Aquarius, ain't you?
Yeah, you a fire. You got a fire sign.
I always meet Aquarius.
Lame Jake Angles, man. This is what they're doing. Let's keep going.
These daughters of the Midianites received their words gladly, and consented to it, and stayed with them.
So they just kept talking. And that was debate. I'm going to listen to you. I'm going to chuckle. I'm going to start giving you pet names. You know, Jake loves some pet names.
Yeah, cinnamon.
Cinnamon Boo, all that stuff. Listen, bro, Jake was losing it. They were sitting and talking. All it took was for them to sit and talk with him, and give him some attention, and brothers are losing their mind. The Most High must have said it to me,
She feeling me.
She talking to me. She feeling me. She's laughing at my jokes, man. I know she feeling the kid. I know it.
You in there?
You in there. Listen, let's keep going,
We vibing with each other.
Yeah, we vibing. We're done.
Line 132. But when they had brought them to be enamored of them, and their inclinations to them
Term
were...
enamored.
Hmm?
Key term enamored. It's like enchanted.
So, but they worked it. They worked the relationship to where these brothers was all in. I'm all in. There's only one way this is going.
Yeah.
It's one way or no way.
Nose wide open.
Yeah. So they listen. The conversations, the vibe was so much. The dudes was locked in. They were locked in a hook, stock, and barrel.
Yep.
Read on.
And their inclinations to them were grown to ripeness.
Yep.
They began to think of departing from them. Then it was that these men became greatly disconsolate.
Listen, we're gonna go. Listen, disconsolate means destitute of comfort or consolation, sorrowful, hopeless, sad, dejected, melancholy.
Like every R&B song.
Yeah, exactly.
It's constantly.
Listen, yes, I.
I was like, could you say that they were being covetous?
Listen, I guess they were infatuated. And as they talked with him long enough to where they knew if they left, they'd break down. And now they wasn't to compromise. So now they're about to leave. They're like, I can't live without you. They all like see a lot. Die without you. They all walking like see a lot.
Yeah. Bring it to a kiss from the rose on the grave. Ooh, the more I you, the stranger.
That's hilarious. That's so listen, they losing their damn minds just because they said they're about to head out.
Enamored. The word enamored means inflamed with love.
That's infatuation. Is it really love?
Yeah.
It's not love. Come on. So what's happening is they got these guys' noses wide open, right? Read on.
Then it was that these men became greatly disconsolate at the women's departure, and they were urgent with them not to leave them.
Yep.
But begged they would continue there and become their wives.
Man.
And they promised them they should be owned as mistresses of
Yeah,
all.
That's the word.
Damn.
They said not just wife. They're like, please,
Yeah.
please, I'll make you a mistress. Listen, I'm gonna give you more than wife status.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you I'm gonna give you the security codes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you everything.
Safe.
I'm gonna give you the key. I'm gonna give you the security codes to the safe, the whole nine. What's that?
That way I played a song on the move. It was his country song, remember? I'm gonna give you the credit card, the key to the house.
Listen, bro, I just pressed the button. I just pressed the button. I didn't play that. Don't blow me up. Don't blow me up.
No, I played it on the CD. This is my favorite song.
I tried to play some country music at the job. I said, let's try something different. Let's try some different music.
I'm playing number 6. I'm playing number 6.
That's on your playlist.
It wasn't my playlist. I'm trying country.
It was a rap song.
I'm trying to go country.
Oh my God.
I said, why not give it a chance?
Oh,
And then brothers are complaining. All the brothers are like, what are you playing? I'm not even listening. I was hearing the guitars.
I'm trying not to have black ears at the job.
Yeah.
You can take my credit card. I'm like,
Yeah.
brothers like, you look at me saying that? I'm like,
Listen, Jonas did the same thing, huh? Come on, huh?
yeah.
Taking my money, my house, and my
He's
car.
better. You can have my car
Yeah.
to be with.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's the same
This is
song,
what
huh?
Jake does all the time. They said, I want you to be my wife. No, I want you to be my mistress.
Damn.
That's the head of the household. This is what they were doing to the Midianite women during the time of Moses. They was going to throw it all away and make them the head of the household. And
give
go
you half
half
the
on the
kingdom.
belief system. That's what I'm saying. I give you all this
I mean,
money.
that's my throne.
This is what they were doing. It was the mistress angle that was where they really went out of pocket at. They gave them all the power and the influence of their household.
Anything to keep that spirit around. That's the demon of it.
That's the compromise that Jake does all the
Immediate
time.
compromise.
Immediate. This is up a
That's
couple
immediate.
conversations.
They haven't even done anything yet. They haven't deserved they haven't put no work in.
Yeah.
Bro.
Wow.
But that was the deal. I'm going to make you head mistress of the house. They were doing the same thing in Ezra. They were doing the same thing. I'm giving you head status. I don't give a damn how my house is going to run crappy and how there's going to be idolatry in my house because I'm going to make you the mistress. I don't care about that. I got to have what I want. Men do it now. We're acting like, oh man, these guys are crazy. What were they thinking? Brothers do it every day in America.
No work has been put in.
Hey, you know what they say? You know what these guys are saying? I'll fix it, man. I'll give you some scriptures, man. I'll teach you the law. It's going to work. They don't realize that they was going to hold on to their position regardless. Don't you think you can fix the one you love?
Yeah.
I'll change it. I'll change it. I trust. I'll be able to do it. And you're wrong. And 10 years later, your zone is all jacked up. I thought I could change her. She's not listening, huh? I need counsel. Oh, now you want counsel. Now you want the Bible. Get out of here, bro.
Yeah.
It's a little too late for that.
She ready to leave, huh? She want me to leave.
I want you to tell you now. It's almost over, right? We have a counsel tomorrow tonight. Okay, and you sitting back here counseling. This woman was like this. What is it? Nothing I'm saying is actually penetrating this person's mind, but nothing ever did. So now I'm speaking. Shazam! I'm gonna give you some counsel now that you're gonna sit back and lock in and listen. It doesn't work like that. But this was the risk they took. You know what? I think with my charm and my smile and my confidence and swag, she'll change. This is the problem, huh? They did it then, we do it now. What you gonna say?
Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 26. Because this is a warning shot that scriptures tell us what to do, what not to do in this situation. It's Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 26. Read that.
Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 26.
Start at verse 25.
Verse 25. Marry thy daughter, and so shalt thou have performed a weighty matter.
Marriage is a very serious agreement and covenant.
Yep.
And you got to take marriage very seriously because you're about to unite people and put people in positions that they may not deserve to be in, or put them in positions with people they might not need to be with. Read on.
But give her to a man of understanding.
It said, but you're supposed to give your daughters to a man of what?
A man of understanding.
And these are warnings that we when it comes to being infatuated, we don't read scriptures like this because we're blinded by the beauty, we're blinded by the looks, we're beauty blinded. We see what we want, and nobody could talk us down off of that ledge.
Because you convinced yourself this was meant to be.
It was meant to be. It was love at first sight. We just vibed. Our energies were connected. You know what I'm saying? We just,
energy,
we like
a person lost their mind talking energy.
Yeah.
Energy, the vibe.
Yeah.
I can talk for hours.
Yeah, we talk on the phone all night. We talk till 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
We just talk about talk about things that we know that we both see eye to eye on.
Everybody got to drink something in their head, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the truth, man.
Yep. It's a great feeling because you know what? What you're saying is you're exalting a connection and you're making a connection that's not there. But it's more of an imagination than it is a realistic connection. Yes, sir.
That was like sex of his life.
Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah. He said I gotta have her. But read on.
Verse 26. Hast thou a wife after thy mind?
He says, but the woman's supposed to be where?
After thy mind?
It says no. It's the woman is only valuable if she can do what?
Hast thou a wife after thy mind?
If she can do what? What does that mean? If she can follow. That's what makes her a good woman. She can follow. He says, if you got a wife that can follow instructions, but how can somebody follow when they're fighting for the first place of priority? How are they going to follow when they want to always attack your preeminence?
Yep. And why they going to follow if you give them the top position?
If you submitted,
you gave it to them off rip without even having them earn it.
They ain't even earned it.
Really? They don't respect you. They're going to respect you then.
Man, you fighting for respect 5 years later.
They didn't even ask for the preeminence.
Nope.
They just said, we're going to go home.
And we're going to give it to you.
No, hold on. What do you want? Like, I want to marry you. No, I'll give you you be the head wife. I promise. You can run the house how you want it. Like, what the hell kind of crap was this? They just said they was leaving to go home with their people. Listen, I'm not going to say that. But yeah, you get the point.
I got to give you a bigger deal. I got to give you a deal to persuade you so I can have it.
This is why Colossians says, taste not, touch not, or handle not. Because we all perish with the what? With the user. So, because what happens is, Satan understands that all he has to do is show it to us, let us handle it, let us taste it, let us touch it, and then we want it.
Yep.
And if he can pique your interest and entice you by your interest, he got you.
Yeah.
That's all it takes. Finish that in 14 or 26.
Verse 26. Hast thou a wife after thy mind? Forsake her not, but give not thyself over.
It says, but do not marry what kind of woman?
A light woman.
Well, a light woman, when you look at that definition of that word light means a woman that's not serious. She's not serious about following.
Wow.
So he said these are warnings that we pay no attention to until it's too late. We already be locked in 5 years deep, 2 years deep, 10 years deep with somebody that don't want to follow, and they don't take the Most High serious. They don't take you serious. They don't take order serious. They don't take being in order, following instructions serious. You set yourself up for failure, and we do it all the time. Back then we did it, and we still do it today. That's it from there,
brother. So let's continue. Let's go back into Josephus. So let's go to the sentence that leads up to the mistress part. When they were discontent, when the women were going to leave, and they were urgent with them not to leave.
They began to think. That's fine. They began.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They began to think of departing from them. Then it was that these men became greatly disconsolate at the women's departure.
I cannot take the idea of losing.
Of you losing me.
I'm
losing what I want. Yeah.
Same thing with Adam. Same thing with Solomon. Same thing with
the men during Ezra's time. It's the same concept.
It's the spirit of
I'm doing a bad deal because I'm weak, and I can't operate without you. So I'm going to be serving you until I die. You start making that compromise off rip, and all of a sudden you grow a pair 3 years later, you think it's going to work?
Yeah.
However you establish a relationship is how it's going to be from the beginning. Read on.
And they were urgent with them not to leave them, but begged they would continue there and become their wives. And they promised them they should be owned as mistresses of all they had.
Yeah, so you're going to run the entire house. You know we're about to go to Canaan, right?
no.
We about to get our inheritance. Inheritance. And you could be the partaker of the inheritance that the Most High gave the Jews.
Wow.
They was going to give the inheritance of these women out. Whatever they won in war against these Canaanites, it was going to be these Midianites to have.
He said, "You get to have power over all my property."
Yes.
He said, "Of everything I have."
Yes. You're the head wife. I'm giving you all the power.
That's a real sucker for love.
That's some sucker stuff. But this one, the Most High was so upset. So was it about the fact that they were nations? No. It was the fact that these nations were allowed to maintain their belief system and how they look at things spiritually, and we were going to cater to their way of doing things. That was the wickedness.
Okay, question.
Yes?
So it wasn't just that they were marrying them, but they were letting them still practice their culture?
Yes, because
it does meld into whether you want it to.
Exactly. So if I make you the mistress, you get to run the house how you feel like running the house.
Oh.
So now,
Pork in the house, you can have pork in the house, basically.
yeah, so you can sit back. That's the point. Pork, idols, whatever. I'm letting you run the roost.
It's not lie like
Just
this.
like Sarah was running. Was Abraham tripping on how Sarah ran the house? Abraham wasn't tripping on how Sarai ran her servants. That was Sarai's job. Abraham was nation building. He said, "Let Sarai run the house. How she got to run the house?" Abraham wasn't micromanaging every little thing in the house. So what's happening is, when you give the wife the mistress position, let her run the house how she got to run it. Now, if it needs improvement, the husband's job is to augment how things are done. But once you augment it and have it establish the standard, let her run it how she got to run it. Right?
If it's according to your
If it's according to your standard, that's what I said. If it's going to your standard, you set the tone, and then let her run it how you got to run it. The little daily detailed things you're not tripping on. What was you going to say?
No, I just this happens even without it being a Jew.
I know.
We were using the terminology of profane nations.
Yep.
But it happens even with profane.
Well, we
Israelites.
said profane Israelites in Proverbs 21:7. That was profane Israelites that don't respect the Bible.
irreverent.
Don't respect the laws.
And the house gets polluted.
Con. So we're all there, right? So yes, they were given carte blanche to do what they wanted to do in the house. Idolatry, cooking, the whole livelihood. And then the men were just going to be subservient to however they ran it. And the kids were going to have to suffer with the idolatry that was coming after them. And eventually, this is why Ahab, when he married Jezebel, killed one of his sons. That was happening in the time. Even I think it was Ahaz, King Manasseh. All those men that followed these idols, they just followed the whole routine of what the idolatry was about. So anyway, this is what these men wanted to give up just so that they would stay with them.
Yeah.
Let's continue.
Line 133. This they said with an oath.
Oh my goodness.
And called the Most High for the arbitrator of what they promised.
They put their hands up and said, I swear to God.
And the Most High my witness.
Most High my witness.
Oh, God.
God, keep going. It's crazy.
And this with tears in their eyes.
That makes it even worse.
Man, it's over.
Bro.
It's over before it started out here.
This is R&B stuff. This is R&B song right here, right?
That's bad.
This is an R&B song, right? Let's keep going, right?
See brothers crying on YouTube all the time to get married now.
Do they?
Oh man, just look it up. Brothers be.
How do you got time to watch these shows?
I don't know.
What's going on, huh? You watching guys crying and wedding days? What's happening?
They do that now. They do that, huh? The cats are getting married.
Now, when they propose, they'll cry now.
What?
Yeah.
It's not even they're getting married. It's like the thought of getting married to them. So enamored by you, I'm gonna cry.
That's
that soy.
What's going on? That soy boy is that? That's horrible. But keep going, man.
Bro. No, listen.
That's crazy, bro.
Brothers are crying like bawling out.
Are you serious?
And the ribs are like stone face like this.
I got him.
The world's different, bro. This is Jake doing this. Jake.
Oh, bro. That's new. That's new stuff. But there's new things in Israel, I guess. Let's continue.
And this with tears in their eyes.
Man,
and all other such marks of concern.
So, any other facial effects that I got to show you that I'm serious?
Yeah.
Every other seriousness and sternness, whatever little markings I got to show show you that I'm 100% true and sincere about this situation.
Those devil's tears too?
I don't listen. I don't think there was devils. I think these was about this. This was about that action. Whatever I gotta do to convince you, that I'm gonna stick to this.
I mean, I'm gonna pull my money out of my pocket.
Listen.
They was
gonna go to war. They was gonna go to war for this. They was gonna go to war. They gonna kill everything.
Will Smith.
They was gonna kill everything for this. Golly. But let's keep going.
Smith did that too, right?
I don't know, bro. He did a lot of things.
Yeah.
Let's keep going.
And all other such marks of concern as might show how miserable they thought themselves without them.
Golly, bro.
And so might move their compassion for them.
So they say, if I show you how serious I am and I'm crying and I'm showing you all, I'm giving you the world, I'm giving you all the power, maybe you'll realize how serious I am and how much I need you. And if I show you how much I need you, you'll stay. It's weak, bro. These guys were completely out of pocket. But let's keep going.
So the women, as soon as they perceived they had made them their slaves,
got them,
and had caught them with their conversation, began.
I got you just with talking, B. First of all, they were coached up. They were coached up to even operate at this level. That's crazy. So listen, they caught them with the conversation and they know they got them. You gave us the whole bag. So now listen to the response.
Began to speak thus to them. Paragraph 8, line 134. O you illustrious young men, we have houses of our own at home.
So they said it and said, man, we don't need your stinking bread. We don't need your houses. We don't need your money. You're dangling money, we got bread. That ain't enough. We need you to allow us to believe in our idols. And then we'll do it. And that's the setup. Read on.
We have houses of our own at home and great plenty of
I got
good
my own
things
house.
there.
I got my own car.
She's a 5-star.
You said what?
She's 5-star, man.
Yeah, listen, that's what they're saying. I need more than this. What you're providing, what you're asking for, what you're providing me, I already got. So you have to up the ante with what you're asking for.
And they're flattering them too, because illustrious means notably or brilliantly outstanding.
Yeah. So I'm feeling you, but I need more. Read on.
Together with the natural affectionate love of our parents and friends.
So now we got to sit back and say, I got family, I got friends. I got people that love me here. Read on.
Nor is it out of our want of any such things that we came to discourse with you, nor did we admit of your invitation with design to prostitute the beauty of our bodies for gain.
You're not going to sit back here and just run through us and do your thing. We got people. We got family. We're not these coming from broken homes. We got people that love us. I got bread. My people got estate money. It ain't even that serious. I respect you, but hey, that's not enough, bro. Read on.
But taking you for brave and worthy men, we agreed to your request, that we might treat you with such honors as hospitality required. And now seeing you say that you have a great affection for us and are troubled when you think we are departing.
All this, he says, we just came to show you hospitality. we weren't trying to sit back and be whores out here. We just want to be respectful to you.
I'm a good girl.
You guys are in town. You guys just made it over here. Congratulations. We're just being polite. But if you're really trying to push this, read on.
We are not averse to your entreaties.
And if you really push this, we'll consider it. Read on.
And if we may receive such assurance of your goodwill as we think can be alone sufficient, we would be glad to lead our lives with you as your wives.
But you got to give us some more assurances. What you've thrown out there on the bargaining table ain't enough. Mistress is the beginning. How about that? Read on.
Line 136. But we are afraid that you will in time be weary of our company and will then abuse us and send us back to our parents after an ignominious manner.
Meaning a not honorable manner.
And that means that happened back then too.
Yeah.
You got sent back home, man, with the bags.
This is a bad deal for everybody, man.
Yeah.
Let's keep going. It happened with that Levite and that Benjamite.
Yeah.
And Judges. Let's keep going. This thing happens.
And so they desired that they would excuse them in their guarding against that danger. But the young men professed they would give them any assurance they should desire.
That's crazy, bro.
Nor did they at all contradict what they requested. So great was the passion they had for them. If then, said they, this be your resolution, since you make use of such customs and conduct of life as are entirely different from all other men.
He says, if you really want to do this, you guys roll different than most men on earth roll.
And that's that slight subliminal jab at your belief that people do.
Yep.
Men
your belief is weird.
Have to be very on guard with those subliminal attacks against your belief.
Yep.
Because the subliminal attacks over time overthrow your decision making.
Yep.
And it's little things like you're cute, but you got too much hair on your face.
Yeah. No doubt.
It's little things like that make you compromise the strength and the quality of a beard. The definition of a beard is a manly badge of honor.
The first thing your brother do is going to be shaving that thing to the
lowest
level.
It gets real narrow.
Is there a 0.35?
0.35.
It's only like a 1.
It's like a 1. Yeah.
Is there like a small? You go to all the damn like razor shops, all the Walmarts.
We got a 1/8. Let me get a 1/8.
Is that 1/8 trimmer?
Yeah, like
is there anything lower than 1/8?
Yeah.
The 1/16 right here.
Is there anything I can get at that they look like they're as low as I can, not to get away with unlawful, but I still look like babyface at the same time?
Yeah,
bro.
That's the first thing that goes out. Is the form of masculinity. You know a man's starting to compromise when he starts to trim. When he starts to trim, get all edged up and get all lined up, all up in the beard and the face, eyebrows arched.
It still don't change it out. You don't get no points for that out. Anyway, bro.
Archery.
Archery ain't look like he's always angry.
Yeah. He got the threaded. He going to get the threaded eyebrows to the lady that do the strings.
Horrible. He's getting strained up.
Get the eyebrows arched up.
Strings.
Yeah, that's a real place.
Get his back waxed. But that's when you start changing your appearance. You already know you lost. You already given up. You're giving up power. You're giving up control in small form, incremental forms.
So let's keep going.
Since you make use of such customs and conduct of life as are entirely different from all other men, in so much that your kinds of food are peculiar to yourselves.
You don't eat pork? Why don't you eat pork? Everybody eats pork. You know, so you compromising that level.
Yep.
Let's keep going.
And your kinds of drink not common to others. It would be absolutely necessary if you would have us for your wives, that you do with all worship our gods.
You're going to have to worship our gods. Not just allow us to do our thing. You got to partake in our thing. They're completely emasculating these men. They're dressing them down, bro. Completely. Not just, I want the mistress power and say so, and to run the house the way I want it. You got to do how I do also.
You must yield.
You got to yield in every way, spiritually. And then it'll work out. Let's keep going, bro.
That's so important.
Next thing you know, you got brothers eating oysters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a delicacy.
It's kind of good.
This is a delicacy. But the problem is this: they never pushed on them.
Exactly.
The men did the whole thing.
Yo, this crawfish etouffee.
Yeah, but it's
It's
French.
different.
It's French, y'all.
French.
It's French, y'all. You know, spring is crawfish season, y'all.
You should do new things, huh? You should do new things.
Try it. Just try it.
Don't knock it till you try it.
Yeah.
You haven't lived, huh?
Kind of.
Turn that down.
But keep going, huh?
Nor can there be any other demonstration of the kindness which you say you already have, and promise to have hereafter to us, than this, that you worship the same gods that we do. For has anyone reason to complain?
You see, they inched into it.
Yeah. Yeah. But they baited them in.
Yeah.
They kept giving in. This was no real work at all. Read on.
For has anyone reason to complain that now you are coming to this country, you should worship the proper gods of the same country? Especially while our gods are common to all men, and yours such as belong to nobody else but yourselves.
Subliminal slight.
So if you're going to be in this country, follow the gods of the country.
When in Rome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's keep going.
So they said they must either come into such methods of divine worship as all others came into, or else they must look out for another world, wherein they may live by themselves according to their own laws.
You can go live by yourself and do what you got to do.
But you know, like I just mentioned, there's an attack to make you feel like what you believe in is abnormal and strange.
Yep.
Because that's what people will attack first. I don't like all them fringes on your clothes. I don't like the way you look. I don't like all the hair on your face. I don't like, because when my family invites you over, we got lobster, we got crabs, we eat all that. And you're going to feel odd at the table. So, why don't you start adopting how we do things? Because you're the strange one. You're the odd one. You're the one that stick out like a sore thumb. You're the one that do different. You live different from everybody in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So from a young man, are you going to stand on your principles as a young man? When you start hearing all these things to loosen up your belief, are you gonna stand on your principles? When you're at a house party and everybody passing around dope and weed and drugs and alcohol, are you gonna stand on your principles when that influence is right there in front of your face just because you want to be accepted by people or you want compatibility from your friends and people around you?
Yep.
Because this is not just in women. We got young men in here too. You're gonna have friends tell you the same thing. Yep. Oh, you don't vape, bro?
Yep.
Bro, you don't vape? You don't do this?
No, I don't want popcorn lungs, bro.
Yeah, you don't the black lung. You don't do these things? They're gonna look at you strange. But you know what? Peer pressure is huge.
Real.
Peer pressure is huge.
But the answer is in what they were even saying to the men. She says, if you don't want to do it this way and operate by the rules of the land, maybe you might want to go to another world and be alone.
Be alone.
But the answer is always, can you, for righteousness' sake, are you okay with being alone? Because that's why most men and women compromise right from wrong anyway. I don't want to be alone with no friends. I don't want to be alone without a wife. So I need to compromise something so that I don't lose what I got. The scriptures, the Bible, the stories all let you know. Listen, if you're not afraid to lose, Most High will keep giving you what you need. But if you're afraid to lose, now you're going to start compromising and breaking the law and making mistakes, and now you're out of pocket. These men weren't willing to be alone and wait till the Most High sent them what was for them. And that's the truth. So that's the thing. Were the men going to sit back here and be okay with being alone? Most men aren't. And that's why they sit back here and compromise right from wrong all the time. So, I don't want to keep going in that chapter because we've read this chapter before. Let's go now to, let's see, Numbers 25, verse 1 through 6. Numbers 25, verse 1 through 6. Tawam. Give you a little break. Let's get you in Tawam. Okay.
Dahawam Racha, Shah Shabbatah, Bana Shah, Banya Sha'Allah.
Tawam Rakha, Shoshabata, Badashar, Bayashara, Amajim. What? Yahweh Hashem Yashabakata.
Yahweh Hashem Yashabakta.
Okay, what's up? So now, let's see. A couple more verses in Numbers. It's Numbers 25, verse 1 through 6, I think. And then we're going to be doing Numbers 31. So we might not even be able to get to the rest of the damn chapters today, but I think explaining the process of why the Most High was so angry about the marrying of these wives, I think was important. Y'all understand?
Okay.
And, you know, it's important to take our time on this and explain things properly. Yeah, so let's do that. Where are we at? Numbers 25, right?
Yes, sir.
Read that. This connects. Numbers 25 connects what we just read in Antiquities of the Jews and Josephus, Book 4, Chapter 6, Paragraph 7 and 8. Read that.
Verse 1
through 6.
Okay. Numbers chapter 25 and verse 1. And Israel abode in Shittim, and the people began to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab.
And the story kind of gives clarity about why we were committing whoredoms and the extent that we went into trying to connect with these women. Read on.
And they called the people unto the sacrifices of their powers, of gods. And the people did eat and bowed down to their gods.
Because they were not going to be alone. They sacrificed and gave up their belief system. They gave these women mistress power. All of this stuff just to keep a woman right next to them. Read on.
And Israel joined himself unto Baal Pedor.
Against Baal Peor.
Peor.
Because that was Lord of the Opening. That was the idol that the Midianites served and followed. Read on.
And the anger of the Most High was kindled against Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And the Most High said unto Moses, Take all the heads of the people, and hang them up before the Most High against the sun, that the fierce anger of the Most High may be turned away from Israel.
So Most High said, Moses, listen, man, get the heads of these people. I want their heads. I want these guys dead tonight.
Wow.
This is why Ezra, in Ezra 9 and 3, somebody give me that real quick. Give me that real quick.
And those heads were sharp.
Listen, 9 and 3.
Ezra chapter 9, verse 3.
Give me 2 and 3.
Verse 2. For they have taken of their daughters for themselves and for their sons, so that the holy seed have mingled themselves with the people of those lands. Yea, the hands of the princes and rulers have been chief in this trespass. And when I heard this thing, I rent my garment and my mantle, and plucked off the hair of my head and of my beard, and sat down astonished.
Listen, because don't forget, Ezra was skillful on the scriptures. This guy remembered what happened the last time we were doing this. And the Most High wanted blood when he knew that the people were sitting back here and trying to follow Baal Peor and compromise with these women and follow idols. And this is why Ezra was so afraid and panicked and had to make emergency decisions on the fly to keep the Most High's anger from coming back on Israel. Okay? So let's continue in Numbers 25.
Numbers chapter 25 and verse 5. And Moses said unto the judges of Israel, Slay ye every one his men that were joined unto Baal Peor. And behold, one of the children of Israel came and brought unto his brethren a Midianitish woman.
And that was that Simeonite brother, Zimri. Read on.
In the sight of Moses, and in the sight of all the congregation of the children of Israel, who were weeping before the door of the tabernacle of the congregation.
Okay. So once again, what was happening is, and I'm not going to go into the depth of it, but in verse 6, Zimri was a captain or high-ranking man in the army,
Yep.
and his example was weakening everybody else. And when he had a Midianite woman, everybody was trying to follow suit with what this man was doing. And this is where it was kind of like spreading. This idolatry snare was spreading rampant amongst the camp. So the Most High had to sit back here and eliminate these guys quickly. And Phinehas sat back and took a spear and threw it right through this guy Zimri's body and his Midianitish wife to eliminate the threat. And then after that, they killed all the ones who dealt with these women. Okay, so they end up killing them, wiping them out, and eliminating the plague. Let's read through verse 9 so it can be explained.
Numbers chapter 25 and verse 7. And when Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, saw it, he rose up from among the congregation and took a javelin in his hand. And he went after the man of Israel into the tent, and thrust both of them through, the man of Israel and the woman through her belly.
It's a strong, bold move. Read on.
So the plague was stayed from the children of Israel. And those that died in the plague were 24,000.
24,000 men got wiped out because they were sitting back here and dabbling with these nations and gave up the entire inheritance to give these women mistress status. Can you imagine these Midianite women would have had access to the new kingdom in Canaan? Because they just gave up all their position, and then the children of the next generation would have been idol worshippers. This is why this was such an important situation at the time. That negative seed would have sat back and run rampant through the entire nation, and everybody would have been idol worshippers. It wasn't about the fact that they were Midianite women. It was the fact that that position was allowed to run rampant, and that influence was going to go rampant through the nation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now what we're going to do is jump real quick to Numbers 31 to prove the point I'm bringing out. Numbers 31, verse 8 through 27. Then we go on jump to 35 and 40. Thawam also.
Yeah. Numbers chapter 31 and verse 8.
Matter of fact, give me verse 7. Matter of fact, nope. Give me verse 6.
Numbers chapter 31 and verse 6. And Moses sent them to the war, 1,000 of every tribe.
So Moses was like, it's time to break these Midianites at the root. He tried to sit back and sabotage the nation. And we're going to wipe out these Midianites on the east end before we make that trek over and cross over the Jordan. Read on.
Them and Phinehas, the son of Eleazar the priest, to the war with the holy instruments and the trumpets to blow in his hand. And they warred against the Midianites. And the Most High commanded Moses, and they slew all the males. And they slew the kings of the Midian, beside the rest of them that were slain, namely Ivi, Rechem, and Zur, Hur, and Rabah, 5 kings of Midian. Balaam, also the son of Beor, they slew with the sword.
Balaam had to die too, even though he was the one that prayed for the Jews in previous chapters earlier. He had to die because he was the one instrumental in this sabotage. He's the one that showed them, peeped them on game, how to break us.
Yep.
Read on.
Verse 9. And the children of Israel took all the women of Midian captives, and their little ones, and took the spoil of all their cattle, and all their flock.
Read on. So
all their
listen,
goods.
I thought they weren't supposed to take the Midianite women because they were wicked. They took them, though.
They saved them.
They saved them. So we're going to keep reading. There's a note of that. The Most High was angry just in chapter 25 that they took Midianite women, but they're taking Midianite women again. Right? Read on.
Verse 10. And they burnt all their cities wherein they dwelt, and all their goodly castles with fire. And they took all the spoils, and all the prey, both of men and of beasts. And they brought the captives, and the prey, and the spoil unto Moses, and Eleazar the priest, and unto the congregation of the children of Israel, unto the camp at the plains of Moab, which are by Jordan near Jericho. And Moses and Eleazar the priest, and all the princes of the congregation went forth to meet them without the camp. And
So they met them outside of the camp in the plains of Moab. Read on.
And Moses was wroth with the officers of the host, with the captains over thousands, and captains over hundreds, which came from the battle. And Moses said unto them, have you saved all the women alive?
So the question is, why was Moses mad? Was he mad because they took the women of marriageable age back? Or they took them all back? Ones that was married, ones that was mothers. They took them all back. He was mad that they took all the Midianite women out and didn't kill them. It's going to explain. Read on.
Verse 16. Behold, these caused the children of Israel through the counsel of Balaam to commit trespass against the Most High in the matter of Peor. And there was a plague among the congregation of the Most High.
Khan.
Now therefore, kill every male among the little ones, and kill every woman that hath known man by lying with him.
So listen, they were supposed to kill all the women who already had a man before. Yeah. They were supposed to be wiped out. All the male children were supposed to be wiped out. Anything that was going to have a remembrance of that influence had to go. Yep. Okay, read on.
But all the women children that have not known a man by lying with him, keep alive for yourself.
So listen, so was the wickedness for them having a Midianite woman? Or was the wickedness that we took Midianite women and nations and gave them the power, position, and authority and gave them the right to operate as the head mistress of the house? That was the problem. That was where the weakness and the wickedness came from. Like we're reading in Ezra chapter 9. Read on.
Verse 19. And ye abide without the camp 7 days. Whosoever hath killed any person, and whosoever hath touched any slain, purify both yourselves and your captives on the 3rd day, and on the 7th day. And purify all your raiment, and all that is made of skins, and all work of goat's hair, and all things made of wood. And Eleazar the priest said unto the men of war which went to the battle, this is the ordinance of the law which the Most High commanded Moses. Only the gold and the silver, the brass, the iron, the tin, and the lead, everything that may abide the fire, ye shall make it go through the fire.
So the Most High was so focused on the cleanliness of things. So all the metals running through the fire to purge it. All the animal skins and clothing, you wash that. Okay, read on.
And it shall be clean. Nevertheless, it shall be purified with the water of separation. And all that abide not the fire, ye shall make go through the water.
Exactly. Read on.
And ye shall wash your clothes on the 7th day, and ye shall be clean. And afterward ye shall come into the camp. And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, take the sum of the prey that was taken, both of man and of beast, thou and Eleazar the priest, and the chief fathers of the congregation.
So we're going to sit back here now. We're going to divide the spoil up properly amongst the people. Read on.
And divide the prey into 2 parts, between them that took the war upon them, who went out to battle, and between all the congregation.
So now he's like, everybody who fought in war, we're going to split the prey up between the ones who actually fought, and then the rest of the people in the congregation. We're going to split it up in 2 ways. Now we're going to jump to verse 35.
Numbers chapter 31 and verse 35. And 32,000 persons in all, of women that had not known man by lying with him.
So there were 32,000 women who were virgins that were going to get divvied up in the spoils, that were going to be concubines and handmaids. Handmaids to the mission's wife, and then concubines to the husband, or to the men. Read on.
And the half, which was the...
No. And then we jump to verse 40.
Numbers chapter 31 and verse 40. And the persons were 16,000.
So what it's saying is 16,000 of the women went to the men who actually fought in the war. Okay, so that lets you know that the warriors had concubines too. It wasn't just a king thing. The men had the concubines. And so once again, it wasn't wicked to have a concubine, according to the scriptures. They just couldn't be in a position of authority and run the house. Okay, read on.
Of which the Most High's tribute was 32 persons.
So it says the Lord's tribute. What does that mean? 32 women went to the who? The priest. So 16 out of 32,000 women, 16 went to the men. 16,000 went to the men who went to war, and the other 16,000 was divvied up amongst the congregation, and a portion of that went to the priest. 32 women went to the priest and went to their households and families. And this is how the concubines were divvied up. Now the whole chapter goes into all the other items, the animals, the tributes, how they broke down all that. I just want to show you that after war, even the Levites were given concubines for help. So once again, and these were the same women, at least nationality-wise, that helped corrupt the nation 5 or 6 chapters earlier.
God.
So was it up, once again, it wasn't about the nationality, it was about the influence and power they were given.
Yep.
Yes, Al.
It just goes against like what's thought of as chivalry now, like save the women and children.
Yeah.
You know, and the women already have a mind of their own, and the children, the male children, are like, what was my father like?
Mm-hmm.
And then that influence.
Shit, they got rid of all the male children.
Right.
Yep. Well, the male children were dead.
Yeah, they eliminated the male children.
God.
Because they're going to want vengeance. You killed my father.
Yep. So once again, I'm just trying to explain why, as we go into Ezra 9, what was the real concern? What was the real issue in Ezra 9? It was the same issue that was in Numbers 25. Is that these men in Ezra 9 were giving these women power to run the household. And they were given power to seduce these men into idolatry also. And that's what weakened the nation. Just like what Ahab gave Jezebel power to run the whole household. It was weak men who were serving their women, who were nations, who pushed idolatry into the nation. So when you sit back here and read on in Ezra 9 and 10, that the verdict was for that these women and kids had to leave, it's very similar to when Hagar and Ishmael had to leave because of the effect that was going to be in Abraham's household. And you're reading in Ezra 9 and 10, we're about to, that their effect was going to be so detrimental that it was going to affect the nation moving forward and their ability to reteach and reinstitute the law. How can you reteach the law and institute the law when you're constantly fighting with idolatry and the knowledge that comes from that lifestyle? So in order for Ezra to do his job, he had to eliminate all of that negative environment, that negative what do you call it? That negative influence.
Or vying for power.
Exactly. And that jockeying for power.
Yeah.
Con.
Genesis chapter 3, verse 16.
Are we clear so far? Okay.
Whoever got it.
Genesis 3:16.
Yes, sir.
Genesis chapter 3 and verse 16. Unto the woman he said.
And when the Most High handed down punishments, even from the beginning of time, he said this was a punishment the Most High had set up for the women. Read on.
I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception.
So you're going to have a painful delivery. That birth, you're going to experience birth pains as a punishment, bringing men into the world. Read on.
In sorrow
Go
thou
ahead.
shalt bring forth children.
Go ahead.
And thy desire
He said, and the second curse that I'm going to hit you with is that your desire, go ahead,
shall be to thy husband.
what does that mean?
Whatever he wants you. His desires don't matter.
Right. So he says, your desire shall be to what?
To thy husband.
He said, your husband shall have the rule over you. Matter of fact, read on.
And he shall rule over thee.
So what did the Most High say that he put between what a woman's desire was going to be and her position is going to be toward a man? Inferior. He said, that man has always got to put you under submission.
But we found out why. Now we found why. Because the natural inclination for the majority or the critical mass is always some form of idolatry.
It's a power struggle.
Yeah.
It will always be a power struggle.
Yeah. Yep.
So the Most High makes sure that you know your place. But that doesn't mean that you're not going to want power, and you're not going to want influence. But you're going to have to submit yourself to that man from now on.
Yep.
First, he just gave instructions. It would have been simple if they would just follow the instructions, but they complicated it. So now the Most High got to set up this dynamic where the scriptures say laws are made for what? For the lawless, for the disobedient, to the profane, to the unholy, to the unthankful. So the Most High got to establish even more strict rules when people want to go out of bounds. He has to create more stricter conditions. So a woman's situation, she was always going to have to follow that husband's lead. So a woman alone will always be trying to jockey for power over a man in a household. And if a man submits himself to the power of that woman, then that angers and disturbs the Most High.
That's true.
So maybe I should have pulled this earlier, but we kind of started making adjustments in the middle of the class. But this is an important verse. And this ties in why we were saying why the Most High was okay with Hagar being ran off, and how the Most High was being okay with in Ezra. All the men who chose these foreign wives and their kids had to go. This verse kind of ties it in. Give me Proverbs chapter 30, verse 21 through 23. I'm sorry. I should have pointed the person out. I almost get it.
Proverbs chapter 30 and verse 21. For 3 things the earth is disquieted, and for 4 which it cannot bear.
The earth can't bear it. That means the household's not going to work. Society can't handle when these things are actually operating the way they're operating. Read on.
For a servant, when he reigneth.
When a servant is in power, everything is upside down. Everything is topsy-turvy. Things are out of place. Most High it desires everything to be done decently and in order. So when a servant is in power, things are flipped upside down. Like today. Okay? Read on.
And a fool when he is filled with meat.
Mm-hmm.
For an odious woman.
Now, an odious woman is a hateful woman. Okay? Or a woman that is offensive to the senses. Read on.
When she is married.
When an offensive, hateful woman is married, that is a disquieting thing on earth also. But what's intolerable in the Most High's eyes is this last one.
And an handmaid that is heir to her mistress.
And this is the issue. That handmaid that has the power over the head wife, the Most High hates that. That's why the Most High was okay with Hagar being sent out. Because you can't sit back here in a house and have things that disorganized and out of control. The people that were supposed to be handmaids and servants need to be handmaids and servants. They can't be allowed to have power and rulership over the house, over the woman that was supposed to be the mistress of the house. And this is why the Most High wasn't with what was happening in Ezra 9, what was happening during the time of Ahab with Jezebel, what was happening with Hagar and Sarai,
Solomon and his wives.
what was happening with Solomon and his wives. He was against all of it. What he's saying is you can't have servants be in a position of authority and expect a house, a family, a society to be governed properly. So this is why the Most High was okay with the children and women leaving. Because how was that child going to grow up with that mother being eradicated? He was going to be bitter. There was going to be issues.
Yeah.
There was going to be a desire to sit back here and go out and see how his other side lived.
It wasn't going to work.
It wasn't going to work. Think about, even when you read in Judges, how Abimelech was the 71st son of Gideon, and he had all 70 of his legitimate brothers killed, so he could sit back here and take power, and he used the affinity and relationship he had with his non-Israelite mother to get leverage to attack those 70. These are real things that happen when there's vying for power at the top with the bloodlines. So the Most High was like, let the children and the wife go to keep the purity and the power and the serenity of the household in Jerusalem.
That's why Rebecca told Jacob, listen, when your father died, you got to get out of here.
God.
Because Esau already said he going to kill you. I heard him say he going to kill you.
God.
She already knew it was going to be a power struggle. And that's the definition of when a tyrant is in power. That's the definition of a tyrant. A tyrant, by definition, is an unlawful person that is not the hereditary ruler to be in position of control. So the Most High don't want no tyrants running the earth.
Got it. So y'all understand where this is going.
Yeah.
I know we're tedious and it's tedious as heck, but I think it was important to go into this so as we read into Ezra, there's no misunderstanding things. Okay? So the Most High hates it when that handmaid takes the position of the mistress. The Most High hated it when these Midianite women, who were supposed to be handmaids and servants, took the power of the mistress head position in the Israelite household. Because he knew what came with that switching of power. Okay.
And it says, if man have two wives, he said, one should be loved, the other one should be hated.
God.
But it's going to be a struggle between who's the loved.
God.
Who's the favorite.
God. And shoot, if this guy is okay with compromising right from wrong, then that's going to be the one that gets the power and the leverage.
Yep.
Everything has to be done decently and in order. So, now let's get back to Ezra chapter 9. Because I felt that we need to take the time to explain it. Now we can get back in Ezra 9 and at least hopefully get through this chapter. Okay? Let's do verse 3 again.
Count. Ezra chapter 9 and verse 3. And when I heard this thing, I rent my garment and my mantle, and plucked off the hair of my head and of my beard, and sat down astonished. Then were assembled unto me every one that trembled at the word of the Most High of Israel, the power of Israel, because of the transgression of those that had been carried away. And I sat astonished until the evening sacrifice.
The evening sacrifice was around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And he was astonished until that time. Okay, but it says at this time, while he was praying and meditating and going through his process, there were people who still believed in the scriptures and believed in the Most High. They came to him. Give me verse 5.
Verse 5. And at the evening sacrifice I arose up from my heaviness, and having rent my garment and my mantle, I fell upon my knees, and spread out my hands unto the Most High, my power, and said, O my power, I am ashamed and blush to fill up my face to thee, to lift up my face to thee, my power. For our iniquities are increased over our head, and our trespass is grown up unto the heavens. Since the days of our fathers have we been in a great trespass unto this day, and for our iniquities have we, our kings and our priests, been delivered into the hands of the kings of the lands, to the sword, to captivity, and to a spoil, and to confusion of face, as it is this day. And now, for a little space, grace has been shown from the Most High, our power, to leave us a remnant to escape, and to give us a nail in this holy place, that our power might lighten our eyes, and give us a little reviving in our bondage.
So Ezra's like, listen, man, we have a little bit of grace and mercy the Most High showing us, and this is how we act with a little bit of grace. Read on.
For we were bondmen, yet our power hath not forsaken us in our bondage, but hath extended mercy unto us in the sight of the king of Persia, to give us a reviving, to set up the house of our power, and to repair the desolation thereof, and to give us a wall in Judah and in Jerusalem. And now our power, what shall we say after this? For we have forsaken thy commandments, which thou hast commanded by the servants the prophets, saying, the land unto which ye go to possess it is an unclean land, with the filthiness of the people of the lands, which their abominations, which have filled it from one end to another with their uncleanness. Now therefore give not your daughters unto their sons, neither take their daughters unto your sons, nor seek their peace or their wealth forever, that ye may be strong and eat the good of the land, and leave it for an inheritance to your children forever. And after all that is come upon us for our evil deeds, and for our great trespass, seeing that our power has punished us less than our iniquities deserve.
He says, our power has punished us less than our iniquity deserves. That's really how we have to look at our condition. For as much wickedness as we've done, our condition should be way worse and more drastic and more difficult than it is now. So instead of complaining about how tough your situation is, remember that your situation can be way tougher because of your wicked works. Read on.
And has given us such deliverance as this. Should we again break thy commandments and join in affinity with the people of these abominations?
Like we've been doing for countless times leading up to this point. Read on.
Wouldst not thou be angry with us till thou hast consumed us, so that there should be no more remnant nor escaping?
God.
O the Most High Power of Israel, thou art righteous, for we remain yet escaped, as it is this day. Behold, we are before thee in our trespasses, for we cannot stand before thee because of this.
What we're going to do is I'm just going to stick with the Bible and the in the Josephus. Maybe I'll slide the Apocrypha in because it's saying the same thing in the Apocrypha. So I kind of want to just ride this. We don't have as much time as we would like, so let's just keep going in the book of Ezra. Let's do chapter 10. We're going to read these 44 verses and try to get through this. Okay? Let Nagahai get this one real quick.
Ezra chapter 10, verse 1.
Okay.
Now when Ezra had prayed, and when he had confessed, weeping and casting himself down before the house of the Most High, there assembled unto him out of Israel a very great congregation of men and women and children, for the people wept very sore. And Shechaniah, the son of Jahiel, one of the sons of Elam, answered and said unto Ezra, We have trespassed against our power, and have taken strange wives of the people of the land. Yet now there is hope in Israel concerning this thing.
He's like, there's hope for us to be saved. We're going to have to make some drastic moves to get us out of the bind that we're in. Read on.
Now therefore let us make a covenant with our power to put away all the wives and such as are born of them.
Like, we're going to have to take away this influence. This influence has got to go. This mistress status of these women pushing these idols, we're going to have to get them out of here. Okay? And the kids. That's the only way to give everybody a clean slate so that the rest of the nation can grow up in the right mindset. Because that's what the thinking was. The next generation got to look at things spiritual. If we don't do this now, they're going to be sitting back here having a half heart with their idols and a half heart with the Most High. We can't survive this way. We're going to all be in captivity soon if we let this slide. Read on.
The whole nation.
The whole nation is in danger.
And that is the bad. That is the violators.
So as bad as babies are crying and there's going to be crying women, what's more important? Big picture, you got to save the nation. That's got to be what matters the most. It is a tough decision, but a decision that had to be made. Read on.
To put away all the wives and such as are born of them, according to the counsel of my Lord, and of those that tremble at the commandment of our power, and let it be done according to the law. Arise, for this matter belongeth unto thee. We also will be with thee. Be of good courage and do it.
Because it takes courage to sit back here and make this decision. It takes a strong heart to be able to do what's necessary. Do what's not politically correct. Read on.
Verse 5. Then arose Ezra and made the chief priests, the Levites, and all Israel to swear that they should do according to this word. And they swear. Then Ezra rose up from before the house of the Most High, and went into the chamber of Johanan, the son of Elishabib. And when he came thither, he did eat no bread, nor drink water, for he mourned because of the transgression of them that had been carried away.
Mm-hmm.
And they made proclamation throughout Judah and Jerusalem unto all the children of the captivity, that they should gather themselves together unto Jerusalem.
So they made it known that everybody had to meet up at Jerusalem on a certain day. Read on.
And that whosoever would not come within 3 days, according to the counsel of the princes and the elders, all his substance should be forfeited.
We're going to make it a little easier for these Jews to make this move too.
Yeah.
Because you know you're going to have some holdouts. So everybody want to keep their life the way it is.
Cool.
You're going to get all your shit confiscated. All your property is going to get sold and sent to the chief governor up in the priesthood.
Yeah.
All your monies is going to the priest's house. To the big house. Don't forget, hold this. Go to Ezra chapter 7, verse 25 through 28 real quick. Let's not forget. Ezra had the power of the law behind him. He can execute prison sentences, the whole nine.
Yeah.
To taking of assets, he had that power. So give me Ezra 7 and 25 through 28.
Ezra chapter 7, verse 25. And thou, Ezra, after the wisdom of thy power, that is in thine hand, set magistrates and judges, which may judge all the people that are beyond the river, all such as know the laws of thy power, and teach ye them that know them not. And whosoever will not do the law of thy power, and the law of the king, let judgment be executed speedily upon them, whether it be unto death, or to banishment, or to confiscation of goods, or to imprisonment.
Listen, this is the king gave him this power.
Yeah.
So you had the power to arrest, confiscate goods, take property, everything.
Or banish.
Or banish you. So you know they were going to listen to Ezra one way or the other. Read on.
Verse 27. Blessed be the Lord power of our fathers, which have put such a thing as this in the king's heart, to beautify the house of the Most High, which is in Jerusalem.
Read on.
And have extended mercy unto me before the king and his counselors, and before all the king's mighty princes. And I was strengthened as the hand of the Most High my power was upon me, and I gathered together all out of Israel chief men to go up with me.
The beautiful thing about this is what you're seeing in Ezra 9 and 10 is how things actually get done. You can't make real change in a city, in a government, in a society without the heads all being in agreement. And to be honest with you, in order to see real change, the heads have to have the power to sit back here and enforce the laws. Without that, you're going to always have a stalemate with how much a group changes.
Oh, the battle of methods.
And there's going to be an argument about methods. You're not going to get anything really done unless there's one way that's universally pushed that the people have to submit to in a godly fashion. This is how that you was able to get. They were able to get so much accomplished and switched around in such a short time, because Ezra had the power to arrest and confiscate property. He had more power to get things done than Christ. Right or wrong?
Yeah.
Christ couldn't get this done on earth because he didn't have the power and leverage to do it.
On a political level.
On a political level.
That's why
He kept fighting people at the top. So the message couldn't stick the way it could have been because the Pharisees kept cock blocking, getting in the way of it.
That's why he said, "Render unto Caesar's what is Caesar's, and render unto the Lord's what is the Lord's."
But the thing is this: the people, when you give Israel a choice, what are they gonna choose? The easy way out. When Christ died, he only had 120 some odd followers. That was it. 120 followers. But now Ezra got the whole damn nation ready to sit back here and lock in. Why? Was Ezra that much potent? They said, this dude can take my property. This dude can take my house and my land. He can get my farm country and my city apartment, my city flat.
Yep.
I'm going to sit back and obey this man. It's unfortunate, but that's what Israel respects.
And he was generous, giving them 3 days to make that decision.
Well,
you be sweating for 3 days, man.
He said, y'all got 3 days to meet up.
Yeah.
We're gonna discuss this. So he's like, I'm gonna give you time to come from the country. You're gonna sit back and get your little buggy from the country. You can make it up here. And you got so much time. We're gonna talk about this issue. So let's go back to
Chapter 10, verse 8.
yeah, and I just got out of the chapter. Okay, Ezra is 10 and what, sir?
Verse 8.
Yeah, let's read that.
Ezra chapter 10, verse 8. And that whosoever will not come within 3 days, according to the counsel of the princes and the elders, all his substance should be forfeited, and himself separated from the congregation of those that have been carried away.
And that means you're going to be in the outskirts without no land. You're going to be out there in the Saudi wilderness, with those bandits,
Those bad boys.
and thieves, those bad boys, You out there in these streets with no home, with no city, with no country.
Man of no country.
If you don't get here in 3 days.
Why y'all here?
Everybody was here. There was no people that were missed. But that's how you get Israel to lock in. That's the only way Israel locks in.
You want to be an outlaw? Then go hang out with the outlaws.
The real outlaws.
Yeah.
But that's the point. It's amazing, but that's what gets things done. Without that, you're not going to get real change, unfortunately. But let's continue.
Verse 9. Then all the men of Judah and Benjamin gathered themselves together.
There was no rebellion. Where was the rebellion at? There was no more quarreling, no arguing. They all gathered.
Right.
They were like, yes, sir, we're coming. We agree. Because I got something to lose.
Right.
That's the only reason they really agreed. We're going to get to the root of it. Read on.
Then all the men of Judah and Benjamin gathered themselves together unto Jerusalem within 3 days.
They liked it more than David.
Yeah.
David had to win the people. You still had Benjamin tripping on David, cussing him out. Ain't nobody cussing out Ezra on this side. They shut their mouth. Because he got the power of the king behind him. And they will kill you. Well, let's keep going.
It was the 9th month, on the 20th day of the month, and all the people sat in the street of the house of the Most High.
9th month, the 20th day of the month. That's around December. Okay? Read on.
And all the people sat in the street of the house of the Most High.
They were out in front of the house. Let me see if I got an image of Jerusalem. I do. When you sit back and look at the image, you'll have like the altar and this whole area, the outer court. is where they were all assembled, listening to Ezra talk. Okay? So they were listening to him in the street. Read on.
Trembling because of this matter, and for the great rain.
They were trembling because of what they were doing, and it was cold as hell. It was raining outside. It was storming. It was crazy and it's storming.
That's a bad day.
It was a bad day. It was cloudy. It was cold. It was rainy, and you had to wait because if you didn't show up, you was losing your property. So there was no way you was getting out. And the Most High made it uncomfortable like that. You're going to feel this rain. You're going to feel this inclement weather because you've been off. Read on.
Verse 10. And Ezra the priest stood up and said unto them, Ye have transgressed and have taken strange wives to increase the trespass of Israel. Now therefore make confession unto the Most High power of your fathers, and do his pleasure, and separate yourselves from the people of the land and from the strange wives.
Kinda. Read on.
Then all the congregation answered and said with a loud voice, As thou hast said, so must we do.
Listen, they were locked in. Yeah. Because they had something to lose. I'm going to keep saying it. Read on.
But the people are many, and it is a time of much rain, and we are not able to stand without. Neither is this a work of one day or two, for we are many that have transgressed in this thing.
So what they're saying is, listen, we're freezing. Our whole body is drenched in water. Can we break this down over time? Because there's no way we're going to be able to sort out all the different families in one day. So can we sit back here and can you administer officers in the different portions of the city, and we can go city to city, family for family, and eradicate this situation? That's what's going on. There's so many damn people that guilty offenders. We'll be here all day. Everybody gonna catch cold. Everybody's gonna get sick sitting here waiting for every family who did the wrong thing to get outed. So the people like, can we just sit back and break it down over time so we can all deal with this issue and at a reasonable manner? Okay, let's keep going.
Verse 14. Let now our rulers of all the congregation stand, and let all them which have taken strange wives in our cities come at appointed times, and with them the elders of every city, and the judges thereof, until the fierce wrath of our power for this matter be turned from us.
So they weren't trying to run from it. It is like, can you sit back and work with the judges and elders of every city and work a system out where you guys can interview all the families, and the families who were in the wrong get dealt with on their day. Just organize the situation versus being in the cold all day long. Read on.
Verse 15. Only Jonathan the son of Asael and Jahaziah the son of Tikvah were employed about this matter.
So there was only two men that were given the responsibility of dealing with these issues. Read on.
And Meshullam and Shabbatai the Levite helped them.
Mm-hmm.
And the children of the captivity did so. And Ezra the priest with certain chief of the fathers after the house of their fathers, and all of them by their names, were separated and sat down in the first day of the 10th month to examine the matter.
So they started on the 10th day, the first day of the 10th month to start this investigation process. Okay, read on.
Verse 17. And they made an end with all the men that had taken strange wives by the first day of the first month.
3 months. 10, 11, 12. That was 3 months of dealing with all the people who had these bogus households.
I had to go to house by house.
Yeah. And you sitting back here dealing with a bunch of families, having to break up these families. It is 3 months of them taxing work. And it was that many Jews that was off. Let's continue.
And among the sons of the priests, there were found that had taken strange wives, namely of the sons of Jeshua, the son of Jozadak, and his brethren.
When the Jeshua, don't forget, he was the high priest that reestablished the order of the temple with Zerubbabel. So all of his sons went left, or a lot of them went left. He was the high priest, and his sons went left.
From the top down.
From the top down. Yep. So the sons of Jeshua, the son of Jozadak, read on.
And his brethren.
Maaseiah.
Maaseiah.
Yeah.
And Eleazar. And Jerib. and Gedaliah.
So from the top down, man, these guys were off. Read on.
And they gave their hands that they would put away their wives. And being guilty, they offered a ram of the flock for their trespass. And the sons of Immer, Hanani, and Zebediah, and the sons of Haram, Messiah, and Elijah, and Shemaiah, and Jahiel, and Uzziah, and the sons of Pashur, Elonai, Messiah, Ishmael, Nathaniel, Josabad, and Elisah.
So there was 17 priests total. They got caught slipping. 17 priests total. Read on.
Also of the Levites, Josabad, and Shemai, and Kaliah, the same is Kalita, Pedithiah, Judah, and Eleazar. Of the singers also, Eliashib, and of the porters, Shalom, and Telem, and Uri.
So there was 10 Levites. Read on. 10 Levite families. Read on.
Moreover of Israel, of the sons of Parosh, Remaiah, and Jeziah, and Melchiah, and Menamin, and Eleazar, and Malchijah, and Benaniah, and the sons of Elam, Menaniah, Zechariah, and Jael, and Abdi, and Jeremoth, and Eliah, and the sons of Zatu, Elonai, Elishabib, Menaniah, and Jeremoth, and Zabad, and Aziza, of the sons also of Babai, Jehonanan, Hananiah, Zabad, and Athli, and of the sons of Bani, Meshullam, Malach, and Adadiah, and Jasher, and Sheel, and Ramoth, and of the sons of Pahath Moab, Adnah, and Chelah, and Benaniah, and Messiah, and Madaniah, and Bezaleel, and Binui, and Manasseh, and of the sons of Haram, Eleazar, Ishajah, Malchiah, Shemaiah, Shimeon, Benjamin, Melech, and Shemariah, of the sons of Hashem, Madani, Manathah, Zabad, Elphalet, Jeremiah, Manasseh, and Shemai, of the sons of Bani, Madai, Amram, and Uel, Benaiah, Bedadiah, Chela, Vaniah, Meramoth, Eliashib, Madaniah, Madani, and Jasu, and Bani, and Benui, and Shemai, and Shelemiah, and Nathan, and Adadiah, and Machanabai, and Shishai, and Shirai, Azareel, and Shelemiah, Shemariah, Shalom, and Mariah, and Joseph, of the sons of Nebo, Jael, Mattathiah, Zabad, Zebaniah, Jadal, and Joel, Benaiah. All these had taken strange wives, and some of them had wives by whom they had children.
So there was 84 of these guys in that last part of the reading, 84 Israelites. And he says that, and all these had taken strange wives. Some of them had wives by whom they had children. So it wasn't super rampant that they had kids, but some of them had kids, and they had to go with the mamas. So they must have had some kind of compensation package or something that was done for them, so they could sit back and have a little something on the way out.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people, bro.
That you got to go through it and
one by one interrogate.
Yep.
But it go to Matthew chapter 7 verse 13, 13 and 14.
Matthew chapter 7, verse 13. Enter ye in at the straight gate.
Christ said what?
Enter ye in at the straight gate.
And what does he mean by that? Read on.
For wide is the gate, and broad is the way.
He said what?
For wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction.
So what he's saying is that don't get caught up in what everybody else is doing. And you can see how the gaining of these Midianite women, or the marriage of these nations, all it takes is for one person to do it, and then it starts catching fire. And then it's a wave and a domino effect on. Well, damn, all it takes is
If he can do it,
yeah,
why
he
come I
can
can't do
How
it?
come what's good for the geese is good for the gander?
Yep.
And that's what people say.
What's
Well,
the gander mean? What does that even mean?
I
I've heard it a thousand
right?
times.
Yeah.
I've never understood what it meant.
Yeah, say
I
again.
got the overall point
For
of
the
it.
rest, yeah. He said for the rest of us.
Okay. Yeah, but what's the gander?
It must be the male groups. You know what I'm saying?
I meant the collector.
Are we guessing here, or
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, that's what I thought.
But this is what people say because this is what people say to justify why I should have it too.
Yeah.
Well, if it's good for you, it's good for me. But you can't get caught up of watching what everybody else is doing, even though it's wrong, to justify why you should be allowed to do it. Christ said, "Enter at the straight gate." So what if everybody's doing what you see that you may want to do? Doesn't mean that it's right.
Done.
Finish that.
And many there be which go in thereat,
Go ahead.
because strait is the gate, and narrow is the way, which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it.
It's only a few people. It's only a few people that desire to walk a straight, narrow path.
Yep.
That don't want to. That walks this path without influencing or allowing influences to take hold of them. There's more people that will be influenced the wrong way than it is for people that are walking on a narrow path that abstain from being influenced. But what Christ is saying is, choose the narrow path. That means the unpopular path, the path that where you may be the oddball, where you may be the outcast, where you may be the one that's not doing what everybody else is doing, and that's okay. Yes, you had your hand up.
You said that there's an idiom.
Yeah, it's an idiom.
It says that one person or situation should be treated the same way that another person or situation is treated.
Right.
Yeah, I just didn't know what the word gander meant. I mean,
It also means simple.
and I got the answer online too. So the internet community they lifted us up, man. It's cool. Man.
Yeah. That's what I said. I said the gander's probably the male. That's what I said too.
I just didn't know for sure. That's all. I mean,
Yeah. But they said now we know that if the female could do it, they're saying the man could do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If it's good for the gander, if it's good for the man, then it's good for the woman too. Because a woman will do the same thing. A woman will say, well, how come you get to do this?
Yeah, and
you have this liberty and I can't.
Yeah.
A woman will rub that in the man's face.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's influence. You have the power to do something. I want that same power.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But this is why you gotta walk a narrow. Christ saying you gotta walk a narrow line and do the unpopular thing and stay on the straight and narrow path. And you can see how easy all of our people got caught up with what was widespread and common amongst the nation. You know what I'm saying? So even back in the 80s, I ain't trying to go that direction, but if you saw a young man wore women's clothes, he got pulverized.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you're not going to bring that in this community.
Yeah.
You ain't going to bring that. This is how communities kept even drug dealers out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They beat up dope dealers, anybody bringing in confusion into the community. They were ousted, but then over time, that gang culture spread so much that it became the dominant influence. Now everybody's wearing colors. Now everybody's going to war. Now you can't walk the street without somebody checking you about what clothes you got on. You know what I'm saying? Because you let that in, you let that culture in. So it's really a fight. This class is great to show that you got to fight to eliminate influences from all directions. This is great class, bro.
Like I said, just so you know, we could go to Josephus 11, book 11, chapter 5, paragraph 4 and 5, because that's what lines up to it. Y'all want to go there? Because this is the same. This is a recap of what we just gone over. Let's do that, and we'll finish up at that. We have a little time. We're going to knock out these 2 paragraphs. Josephus, book 11, chapter 5, paragraph 4 and 5. And just for your own notes, there is some scriptures in the Josephus, but it's the same thing. I just didn't feel it was necessary to, drive that point even more. You know what I mean? But just so you know, it's 1 Ezra, chapter 8, verse 68, all the way down to like 96. It's like the rest of that chapter in 1 Ezra, chapter 8, breaks all this stuff down. I think. Let's see. 1 Ezra 8. And we're not going here. There's a lot of, matter of fact, what we end up doing, pretty much it's 8. It's 1 Ezra 8, Chapter 68 is where we had stopped at from the previous week, and we rerun it all the way to 96, and then we finished the entire chapter 9, verse 1 to 55. But it's just saying the same thing we read. I didn't think it was necessary to rehash all that again. But we can read it, Josephus, to kind of stay current with that. Okay? So we're going to read this, and what we're going to also, after this, we're going to go into 2nd Ezra, at least 10 chapters of that, to still deal with Ezra and the wisdom and the lessons that Mosiah was sitting with him on before we jump into Nehemiah, which will be the week after that, or a couple weeks after that. So let's finish this off. Let's get Josephus, book 11, chapter 5, paragraphs 4 and 5.
Page 292, paragraph 4. With the CPMs, right?
What's that?
With the CPMs, right?
No. 11, 5, and 4.
Oh, my bad.
It's and Ezra's.
Gotcha. After Ezra.
Mm-hmm.
Page 295. Okay. After Ezra had said this, he left off praying. And when all those that came to him with their wives and children were under lamentation, one whose name was Jeconias, a principal man in Jerusalem, came to him and said that they had sinned in marrying strange wives. And he persuaded him to adjure them all to cast those wives
Matter of
out.
fact, you might as well go to paragraph 3, Salakia.
Okay.
We're going to do 3 through 5, just to make sure we do it right.
Paragraph 3. Now these things were truly done under the conduct of Ezra, and he succeeded in them, because the Most High esteemed him worthy of the success of his conduct, on account of his goodness and righteousness. But sometime afterward there came some persons to him, and brought an accusation against certain of the multitude, and of the priests and Levites, who had transgressed their settlement, and dissolved the laws of their country, by marrying strange wives, and had brought the family of the priests into confusion. These persons desired him to support the laws, lest the Most High should take up a general anger against them all, and reduce them to a calamitous condition again.
Can you imagine the priests having that confusion about the Most High and these idols up at that level of the priesthood act? It would have ruined the entire body.
Everything.
It would have ruined everything. And like we said earlier, it was 17 priests and 10 Levites. So that's significant enough to put a monkey wrench in the entire system. Mm-hmm. But let's keep going.
Hereupon he rent his garment immediately out of grief, and pulled off the hair of his head and beard, and cast himself upon the ground, because this crime had reached the principal men among the people. And considering that, if he should enjoin them to cast out their wives and the children they had by them, he should not be hearkened to. He continued lying upon the ground. However, all the better sort came running to him, who also themselves wept, and partook of the grief he was under for what had been done. So Ezra rose up from the ground, and stretched out his hands toward heaven, and said that he was ashamed to look towards it, because of the sins which the people had committed while they had cast out of their memories what their fathers had undergone on account of their wickedness. And he besought the Most High, who had saved a seed and a remnant out of the calamity and captivity they had been in, and had restored them again to Jerusalem and to their own land, and had obliged the king of Persia to have compassion on them, they would also forgive them their sins they had now committed, which, though they deserved death, yet was it agreeable to the mercy of the Most High to remit even to these the punishment due to them.
So he says, listen, you should have died, but you got to give up your kid and your woman. That's how the Most High showed us mercy. Read on.
Paragraph 4. After Ezra had said this, he left off praying. And when all those that came to him with their wives and children were under lamentation, one, whose name was Jeconias, a principal man in Jerusalem, came to him and said that they had sinned in marrying strange wives. And he persuaded him to adjure them all to cast those wives out, and the children born of them, and that those should be punished who would not obey the law. So Ezra hearkened to this advice, and made the heads of the priests and of the Levites and of the Israelites swear that they would put away those wives and children, according to the advice of Jeconias. And when he had received their oaths, he went in haste out of the temple into the chamber of Johanan, the son of Eliasib. And as he had hitherto tasted nothing at all for grief, so he abode there that day. And when proclamation was made that all those of the captivity should gather themselves together to Jerusalem, and those that did not meet there in 2 or 3 days should be banished from the multitude, and that their substance should be appropriated to the uses of the temple, according to the sentence of the elders, those that were of the tribes of Judah and Benjamin came together in 3 days, on the 20th day of the 9th month, which, according to the Hebrews, is called Tebeth, and according to the Macedonians, Elpelius. Now, as they were sitting in the upper room of the temple, where the elders also were present, but were uneasy because of the cold, Ezra stood up and accused them, and told them that they had sinned in marrying wives that were not of their own nation, but that now they would do a thing both pleasing to the Most High and advantageous to themselves, if they would put those wives away. Accordingly, they all cried out that they would do so. That, however, the multitude was great, and that the season of the year was winter, and that this work would require more than 1 or 2 days. Let the rulers, therefore, said they, and those that have married strange wives come hither at a proper time, while the elders of every place that are in common to estimate the number of those that have thus married are to be there also. Accordingly, this was resolved on by them, and they began the inquiry after those that had married strange wives on the 1st day of the 10th month, and continued the inquiry to the 1st day of the next month, and found a great many of the posterity of Jeshua the high priest, and of the priests and Levites and Israelites. Line 152. Who had a greater regard to the observation of the law than to their natural affection, and immediately cast out their wives, and the children which were born of them, and in order to appease the Most High, they offered sacrifices and slew rams as oblations to him. But it does not seem to me to be necessary to set down the names of these men. So when Ezra had reformed this sin about the marriages of the aforementioned persons, he reduced that practice to purity, so that it continue in that state for the time to come.
So they managed it. And after they eradicated the first wave, they made sure we didn't fall back into that the next few generations. But let's keep going.
Paragraph 5. Now when they kept the Feast of Tabernacles in the 7th month, and almost all the people would come together to it, they went up to the open part of the temple, to the gate, which looked eastward, and desired of Ezra that the laws of Moses might be read to them. Accordingly, he stood in the midst of the multitude and read them. And this he did from morning to noon. Now, by hearing the laws read to them, they were instructed to be righteous men for the present and for the future.
So they were reteaching the Jews the law. We might get this in Nehemiah too. But so just be conscious of that. So Ezra is teaching them the law. That's why he had all those Levites come down in the first place, so they can sit back and re-educate the people on how to operate. But you can't even do that unless you eradicate the sin first, then reteach. Okay, read on.
But as for their past offenses, they were displeased at themselves and proceeded to shed tears on their account, as considering with themselves that if they had kept the law, they had endured none of these miseries which they had experienced.
God, it is when you're educated, you can come to that type of sense. But read on. Well, you should at least. Read on.
But when Ezra saw them in that disposition, he bade them go home and not weep, for that it was a festival, and that they ought not to weep thereon, for that it was not lawful so to do.
It's time to enjoy yourself,
There's a time.
There's a time for that, and there's a time to cut and check people. So read on.
He exhorted them rather to proceed immediately to feasting, and to do what was suitable to a feast.
Smile and play some music. Read on.
And what was agreeable to a day of joy, but to let their repentance and sorrow for their former sins be a security and a guard to them.
I'm pretty sure we're going to read this in Nehemiah because we're all leaving in Ezra. We're only dealing in the first month of that year. So getting obviously into the 7th month, we're in the Feast of Tabernacles, and this is what's happening right now. Read on.
Right. For their former sins be a security and a guard to them, that they fell no more into the like offenses. So upon Ezra's exhortation, they began to feast. And when they had so done for 8 days in their tabernacles, they departed to their own homes, singing hymns to the Most High, and returning thanks to Ezra for his reformation of what corruptions had been introduced into their settlement. So it came to pass that after he had obtained this reputation among the people, he died an old man, and was buried in a magnificent manner at Jerusalem. About the same time it happened also that Joachim, the high priest, died, and his son Eliasib succeeded in the high priesthood.
Now, chapter 6 deals with Nehemiah, so we won't be dealing with Josephus for a few weeks until we're done with 2nd Ezra chapter 1 through 10 and possibly 14. But are there any questions about today's class? None, we're good? So I'm going to let y'all brothers finish it up. I'm kind of,
I'll give you one more scripture. Give me 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14.
2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14. Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers.
What does that mean?
Carry yourself with somebody that does not share your beliefs.
Say that again a little bit louder so that we understand what. And this is, we're reading Ezra in the Old Testament, but we're reading this in the New Testament. So this wasn't never to be changed. It says what?
Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers.
What does that mean? Say it a little bit louder so they can hear what you said.
Do not pair yourself with someone that does not share the same beliefs.
How critical is that? You know what I'm saying? This is what, but through the lust of the flesh, you watch the men pull in these strange wives and contaminate the culture. But what the scripture says, don't tie yourself in with somebody that doesn't share the same belief. You know what I'm saying? So this is I know we got a lot of young people, we got people, but this is for any age, any male or female. It's important that when you pair yourself with somebody, you're pairing yourself with people that think the same way, have the same disciplines, follow the same laws, they love the Most High the same way. Because then it can accomplish a greater good, and it's less confusion within your own houses and also for your nation. Read on.
For what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness?
It says the fellowship is what companionship. It's going to be hard for companionship. It's going to be hard for communication. It's going to be hard for communion, to work together, to pray together, to believe together. It says, can two walk together except they be agreed? It's going to make it very difficult, if not impossible. Read on.
And what communion have light with darkness?
Go ahead.
Light and darkness is
opposites.
They don't mix.
No.
Because they have the same. They have different principles and substances.
Different purposes.
God.
The Most High said he made two against two, one against another.
Yeah.
He created those differences for a reason. Read on.
Verse 15. And what concord have Christ with Belial?
Belial, when it says Belial, it's talking about worthless, vain people. What makes them worthless and vain? Go to Leviticus chapter 10, verse 10.
Leviticus chapter 10, verse 10. And that ye may put difference.
It says that what makes some people not worth it, that's why Ezra had to eliminate those other families. He says, because you're supposed to put a difference. Go ahead.
And that ye may put difference between holy and unholy.
It's our job in utilizing discernment and discretion just to make a dividing line between things that are holy, that are consecrated, that are sacred, and things that are what?
Unholy.
Holy and unholy.
We gotta set that difference in order in this life. We have to determine these things. Of course, using the scriptures. We gotta make sure we implement what's holy and unholy in our households. And that's on every level. Because if you don't monitor and put a difference between holy and unholy, then you're gonna twist and merge holiness with wickedness. And when you bring those two things together, you got confusion. And that happens a lot of times in our lives. Our lives are based upon a bunch of confusion because we never set a difference between what's right and what's wrong. Read on.
And between unclean and clean.
And we have to be. It's our responsibility to make sure that we implement these lines, these divisions, and separate what's right and wrong, what's good and bad, positive and negative. We have to make a difference. We have to differentiate the two. Rito, go back to finish that in 2 Corinthians.
2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 15. And what concord hath Christ with Belial? Or what part hath he that believeth with an infidel?
It says, what concord, what agreement? Concord means agreement once again. Yeah. What agreement have he that believeth with what?
Have Christ with Belial.
No, what said he that believeth with what?
With an infidel.
An infidel is an unbeliever.
Yeah.
Somebody that doesn't believe in the God of the Bible.
There cannot be a blend or
right.
Or a compromise.
You don't want to merge those two things, those two philosophies together. You don't want to put that together. Read on.
And what agreement had the temple of the Most High with idols?
It says, and this is what we're reading about in Ezra. When they brought in those women, when the men brought in those women, they didn't just bring the women into their life. They also brought what into their life?
Idols.
The idols, their belief systems.
Yeah.
So when I'm bringing people into my life, I'm introducing people in my life. I'm also bringing what they believe in into my life,
and it's solidified into the children.
Yep, it is
because both children taking both those influences in, becoming one person.
Yep. Read on.
And what agreement hath the temple of the Most High with idols? For ye are the temple of the living power.
It says, "For we are the temple of the living power."
Wow.
So within our temple, we got to make sure that our temple stays holy. It stays sacred. It stays set apart. It stays consecrated. It stays purified. And we don't let nothing defiled in. There's a reason why in the temple there was a brass laver at the door full of water. What the priest supposed to do when they come in the temple? They're supposed to wash their hands and wash their feet at the door because they don't want to let nothing in.
Yeah.
So it's the same way when you merge yourself with people. When you marry yourself with people, you got to be like-minded. You got to have an agreement on what the direction of how things are going to be done. Read on.
For ye are the temple of the living power, as the Most High have said, I will dwell in them.
He says, so if you want the Most High on your side, what must you do? You got to start separating clean from unclean. And that sometimes those separations are taxing.
Yes.
Sometimes those separations, you have an affinity or attraction for those things already. You may have a relationship with those things already. But you have to, if you want the Most High to be with you, you got to make tough decisions and draw lines. Read on.
As the Most High have said, I will dwell in them and walk in them.
Go ahead.
And I will be their power.
Read on.
And they shall be my people.
And that's how the Most High, that's how you guarantee the Most High walking with you. And it should say separate yourselves. Read on.
Verse 17. Wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separate.
And that's why it says, come out from any negative influence. He says, and be ye what?
Separate.
And be ye separate. What does that mean?
Set apart.
Just separate, split in half, set apart, differentiated, distinguished. You can't collude the two. Read on.
Saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing.
It says, and touch not what?
The unclean thing.
So anything unclean, anybody's trying to get you to go in an unclean direction, a direction that's opposite of what the Most High's got going on, you got to cut that off, man.
Gotta go.
It's got to go. And a lot of times, you experience that immediately when you come into the truth, especially with friends, family members, relationships, hobbies that you once had, people that you were socialized with. You start seeing that divide. As soon as you start getting this truth, you start seeing people start bumping heads, man. Well, I don't believe in that no more. Well, you used to do it. We used to do this. We used to hang out here. We used to go here. We used to do this and that. Well, that ain't me no more.
Yep.
Because the Most High He's making you separate. He's separating you from everybody else, and there's nothing wrong with that because you get the Most High on your side. All right. So let's go ahead and send up a prayer. Imagine we'll point walk with them.
Rise and face the east.
And I will receive you.
Yeah, oh, he said, go ahead and finish it then. Go ahead and finish it.
Touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you.
He said, and the Most High said what? I'll receive you. So we'll be accepted by the Most High when we make those. Sometimes it's a tough decision, but we got to stay on the right side. All right? Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, please listen to us right now. Send Micah Allah and the righteous angels to watch over, bless, heal, protect, and make strong the people of Yashala. Also send unto us much wisdom, much knowledge, much understanding, much patience, much faith, much brotherhood, and much love. Spiritual power, and forgive all of our sins. Yahweh Shai, come quickly. For in thee is our hope. Always and forever. Amen. Psalms 92. It is a good thing to give thanks unto Yahweh. And to sing praises unto thy name. O Yahweh. To show forth thy loving kindness in the morning, and thy faithfulness every night, upon an instrument of 10 strings, and upon the psaltery, upon the harp, with the solemn sound. For thou, Yahweh, hast made me glad through thy work. I will triumph in the works of thy hands. O Yahweh, how great are thy works, and thy thoughts are very deep. A brutish man knoweth not, neither does the fool understand this. When the wicked spring as the grass, and when all the workers of iniquity do flourish, it is that they shall be destroyed forever. For thou, Yahweh, art most high forevermore. For lo, thine enemies, O Yahweh, for lo, thine enemies shall perish. All the workers of iniquity shall be scattered. But mine horn shalt thou exalt, like the horn of a unicorn. I shall be anointed with fresh oil. Mine eye also shall see. My desire on mine enemies. And my ears shall hear. My desire of the wicked that rise up against me. The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. He shall grow like a cedar in Lebanon. Those that be planted in the house of Yahweh shall flourish in the courts of our power. They shall still bring forth fruit in old age. They shall be fat and flourishing, to show that Yahweh is upright. He is my rock, and there is no unrighteousness in him. Psalms 133. Shayar, Hama Awa, Ladawad, Hana, Ma, Tawab, Wama, Nayam, Shabbat, Akim, Gam, Yachad, Kashaman, Hatawab, Ayel, Hara'ash, Yara'ad, Ayel, Hazakwan, Zakwan, Aharan, Shayarad, Ayel, Payah, Marawathiwa, Katol, Haramwan, Shayarad, Al, Haroria, Tazawan, Chayab, Sham, Tazawab, Yahweh, Af, Habaraka, Chayayim, Ai, Hawalam, Basham Yahushua.
Psalms 133. Behold how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious ointment upon the head that ran down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard, that went down to the skirts of his garments, as the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion. For there the Lord commanded the blessing, even life evermore. Amen.
Amen.
Yahweh, Basham, Yahushua, Barakanawa, Rashi Allah, Wahabiyah, Saparium.
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Raklanawa, Washala, Wahabiyat, Saporius, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Raklanawa, Washala, Wahabiyat, Saporius, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Raklanawa, Washala, Wahabiyat, Saporius. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahushai. The Wadi Yahweh. The Wadi Yahushai. All love. All mercy. All peace. All piety. All justice. All power. All praise. All strength. All joy. All love. All power is from Yahweh. All power is from Yahweh. All power is from Yahweh. In Yahushai's name we pray. The water. The Yad. Aman. All right, men circle up, so let's have a seat. Uh-oh.
I got it.
You got it? Aban, you got it?
Sir. Starting out in the heavenly order. Yahweh, Yahushai, Yahweh, Min Israel, Imagine. Rock. Yahweh,
Yahweh, turn to face sisters. Sisters, please stand. Men of Israel, I'm out of Shabbat.
Saluting out the daughters of Zion, Min Israel, Imagine. Rock.
Yahweh, dismissed. Fall out.
The water.
The water, everybody online. We'll see you again on Monday.
Come.